Jurkovec on second down. BC's first drive after the Eagles defense forced a punt. And it's complete for a very short gain to Levy. Tackle made by Brendan Looper. And it's 3rd and long.
Really good play by Looper of being in position right there. As soon as Levy catches the football, there's nowhere for him to run. And that defense, that's really coverage. Jurkovec was looking everywhere. He was able to go to the check down, but didn't really have a lot after that. This Bobcats defense has to make plays like that. They have to put them in 3rd and long and keep them out of positions where they can attack this defense.
Eagles need to get to the 10-yard line for a first down. Jurkovec, 5-man rush. It's going to get there. Bobcats sack Jurkovec back at the 30. And it's an interesting decision here for BC coach Jeff Hafley, whose kicker Danny Longman has made 3 field goals in his career, all inside of 30 yards. This would be a 47, 48-yarder.
Double dog, and then you also have the defensive nose tackle make the move. You can see him crossing over and then just go on attack. Dog A-gap blitz with the defensive tackle there, or the nose tackle, tough to block for this BC offense.
Well, check that. Longman kicked last week, but here's Aaron Boumeri, who kicked last year for BC, and it's blocked. The Bobcats defense stands strong.
I think that was Zion. No, that was Morris. Morris again. This young man, Jaron Morris, makes plays all over the field. He is a walking stat sheet. Walking stat sheet, I say. Watch this. He's going to come off the edge. When you get there, you got to make plays, and you do on the road.
No score halfway through the opening quarter.
ACC football is brought to you by CPI Security.
BC sending out Aaron Boumeri to try a long field goal. We'll never know if it would have split the uprights or not.
When you have a fast guy on the edge and you're the edge guy that's protecting, I've done that a lot, Evan. You got to make sure. You got to get a hand on him. He's right there, and then he's just going to come off the edge and do what you're supposed to do. Jaron Morris with the great ability to get off the ball and make a play for this Texas State special teams.
I'm not sure how much you've noticed this, but special teams has been a little shaky in college football through the first few weeks of the season.
Well, part of it goes to the teams that are playing that's uneven. So I talk about a team like Texas State that has, this is week 4. Yeah. When you're Boston College, this is your 2nd game.
McBride gives it. Calvin Hill, the redshirt freshman running back, who's been pretty darn explosive. 2nd in the Sun Belt rushing entering tonight, picks up a yard.
He had a 100-yard rushing game versus SMU, the redshirt freshman out of Baytown, Texas. Right on I-10 between Houston going to Beaumont, where I was born and I grew up right outside of Houston.
I was counting on you for Texas geography tonight. Our Houston native, Charles Arbuckle. The flag in the secondary as McBride threw it out of bounds.
It's either going to be interference or defensive holding. I think what you saw is those receivers there. We talked about staying on top. The defensive coaches said that all week. And sometimes when you stay on top, you grab as well.
Holding defense number 3, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Jason Maitre, the redshirt sophomore from Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, and that's the one thing you're fearful of. And when we talk to every coach on the staff, especially defensive coordinator Tim Lakabu, he was saying that we got to stay over the top. We got to stay over the top.
Here comes Haydel around the edge. He is incredibly explosive. And you get to see why. He takes it into BC territory out of bounds at the 30.
Really like that play call by Jacob Pillar and Spavin. They work together in tandem, but that was one they had been setting up. And that's just going to be a real nice play. Everything moving one way to the left, and then you come back around with Haydel, who's got a lot more speed, I think, than even his coaches anticipated.
Jeremiah Haydel has thrown a pass so far this year, but he hasn't run the ball yet. Until now. McBride launching deep. That ball just out of the reach of the intended target in the end zone. That was Marcel Barbie.
It's one of those shot plays. We talked about at least three of those a quarter. Barbie out there kind of slowed down a little bit. If he runs through it, he may have had that. And he makes some highlight catching plays as well.
Brandon Sebastian in the coverage. Got away with a little arm on the waist of Barbie, who, like Haydel, has made some great catches so far this year. That's a strong defensive play from the BC front. Max Richardson has been the leading tackler for BC for, it seems like, what, 15, 20 years now?
It comes downhill. Watch 14 really coming into your screen. The other thing with Hill, the one young thing that he did as a young guy, you don't stop. You got to run, because if you got a guy coming like Max Richardson at 6'2", 230, he's going to come through you, not to you.
Richardson led the ACC in solo tackles last year. On third down, swing it out to Calvin Hill. He leaps for the marker. And where will the spot be? It's going to be a couple yards shy of the first.
This is where this BC defense had played so well last week. They had 5 turnovers against Duke. Duke did move the ball in the first half. But the big key was they were able to turn the ball over and get the ball. They were +5 last week. And when you get +5, that's huge. They only had 17 turnovers in 2019.
Jake Spavital, the head coach in the play caller, leaves his offense on the field. 4th and short. Pitch it to the outside. Hill's got the first and more. Down inside the 10 goes the freshman back.
This is a beautiful play design because it sets you up. Both the quarterback and the running back are going to start this way and then cut that way, and that is what allows this offense to get out there, see both of them, and then boom, he gets it outside. That takes the defense over. Eye discipline is key. It wasn't on that play for BC.
Good block downfield by the left tackle, Dalton Cooper. First and goal, McBride up the middle to the goal line. He reaches, and McBride is in the end zone for a Bobcat touchdown.
Talked about McBride being a guy that was going to run around, Evan. He was very controlled and poised, but when he sees it right here, he pulls it down, takes it to the house. Max Richardson's blocked up. Everyone's blocked up there. He's able to get in for 6. Look at the blocking there by the offensive line. They like playing with McBride because when he runs, everything becomes electric, and the receivers do it as well.
First rushing touchdown for Brady McBride this season, the transfer from Memphis, son of a high school coach.
Early on the field is a touchdown. That play is under further review.
They're going to take another look and see whether his knee may have been down before the ball crossed the plane.
The reason he was starting at the beginning of the year was because of his ability to get the ball in the end zone. Let's look here. Good block downfield, blocking there. Did that knee go down? Man, he looks like from that angle.
Looks like it's a little short with Deion Jones making the stop, but
Deion comes over the top and pulls him back.
This goal line angle should be a little bit better if we aren't obstructed, which we are.
Yeah, that's the problem, too. Usually with these replays, as you know, inconclusive or indisputable video evidence, you can't really see there. They called it a touch. Knee goes down, but where's the ball? With a cross.
It's had to have been a really difficult last couple of weeks for Brady McBride. I mean, you think he plays well against SMU in his first start for Texas State. Then he gets taken out by COVID protocol. We don't know whether he tested positive or it was just a contact tracing situation. But then he has to watch Tyler Vitt come in and play really well, which had to be nice. But, you know, it was his job that he won in preseason camp. And now he's back playing on the road against an ACC opponent. He's either scored his first rushing touchdown or he's got 2nd and goal from the 1.
He might have been short because that offense looks like they're coming back to get ready to run another play. And defensively, Boston College looks like they're coming back as well. He might have been just a little short because that right leg went down right before he went down, or the left leg, I think, was down before he was able to cross the plane. But the thing I like about this is the play calls that Jake Spavital has dialed up in this the second drive.
Here's Heiser.
After further review, the runner's right knee was down prior to the ball breaking the goal line. The ball be placed at the 1-yard line. It will be second and goal. The clock will start on my signal.
So the only positive thing about not having fans is getting to hear the sidelines a little bit more.
Yeah, you can hear everything. You can hear it all.
2 wide receivers on the bottom of the screen.
Unbalanced line.
Jamil Jeter, transfer from Oklahoma State, just became active on Thursday. Tries to power into the end zone, and he's stopped shy of the goal line.
Yeah, what they do is they take a guy over and move him, and then they reduce the tight end down, go unbalanced, and try to go behind that big offensive line, but not able to get it in.
Jamil Jeter, again, just became eligible. That was his first carry of the season. Former top 100 player in the state of Texas for the class of 2018. Carried the ball 11 times at Oklahoma State. Now he's replaced by Hill in the backfield. And the pitch goes to Hill. And he's got the edge and the score.
Really good play call there because the defensive front was able to get in. There was penetration, and then Hill just sees outside. He didn't hesitate on that one, went in for 6. So this defensive front is going to beat you inside right there. You can see it, but it doesn't matter. Hill's getting outside, good blocking there. Everybody locked up, and easy walk in for 6.
McBride seems really comfortable with these shuffle pass pitches.
He is. He's a guy that's a dual threat. And you can see he's run the option before because his ball handling skills have been really nice tonight.
Seth Keller splits the uprights for the extra point, and the Texas State Bobcats have come to Chestnut Hill and taken a first quarter lead. Calvin Hill from 1 yard out. 7-zip Bobcats. From San Marcos, Texas, strike first tonight. Our 5-star drive summary brought to you by Yellowwood. 9 plays, 70 yards, an impressive touchdown drive from Texas State, culminated with Calvin Hill's 1-yard plunge off the pitch from McBride.
You gotta make him earn it. Let's go.
That early penalty also, having the defensive holding, seemed to set up the momentum for Texas State. Boston College now has to come back on offense and march back down the field and answer to that touchdown.
Texas State junior kicker Jacob Bates will handle the kickoff honors. Levy standing at his own goal line. And the Eagles will take it from the 25. Let's check down on the field with Abby.
Yeah, guys, you were joking about how well you could hear what was going on down here on the field, but from this angle, it's pretty loud. And honestly, if you're not looking up at the stands, you don't notice that there aren't fans here because they're pumping in that ambient crowd noise. The ACC only allows for 70 to 85 decibels. I've had my own little decibel app down here trying to track how loud it gets as they mimic the momentum. But guys, Coach Spav and his team have not played in a game without fans. We know Boston College did last week, and he said it's so cool how much attention to detail they have. Boston College reached out to him and asked if the 70 decibels would be okay for his team. So nice to see that they're taking care of that home game atmosphere here.
Abby, keep us posted on the peak decibel level, please. This is very important information. Jurkovec keeps it himself and bursts up the middle for 9.
It's interesting when you don't have fans, but the guys that are playing, it's just they go and play. You know, that's what they're used to doing.
I looked it up. The average loud stadium gets to 100 to 120. I mean, that's kind of the typical really loud crowd. ACC suggesting 70 to 80 in the decibel range. Most of us don't really know exactly what a decibel is. I read 30 decibels, Charles, is a whisper. So if we whisper, that's still 30 decibels, which sounds like a lot. Jurkovec's going down. Gavin Graham gets home. And after he picked up 9 on first down, he lost 12 on second down.
Totally confused by the defensive backfield, the secondary. When they played the coverage, he could not figure out where to go. He held the ball, pumped it too many times. Watch, he's going to come back. Good protection there. 1001, 1002, 1003. That clock has to go off. You've got to get rid of the football or get out of there. And that was not a good play right there.
Now, Christian Mahogany, the left guard, who's the only new starter on the BC offensive line from a year ago that returned 4 all-conference guys. Mahogany fell down, then got back up and picked up his block to buy him a little bit more time.
You've got to have that clock. And I saw this in the first drive, too. He's hesitating. Now they're off balance right now.
Timeout, BC.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Charge timeout. Boston College, they're first.
When you haven't played a lot of football, this is what can happen to you.
We'll take the timeout, too. Jeff Hafley and the Eagles have 3rd and long coming up. Jake Spavital of Texas State on the left. Jeff Hafley coaching his 2nd game for the Eagles. 41-year-old leader, originally from northern Jersey, on the right. And he called timeout after the Eagles looked a little flustered. They got a 3rd and long coming up here.
Yeah, Jurkovec looks a little rusty, but also he's hesitating some. Right there, you know the blitz is coming. You got to get rid of it. You don't have that time. And right here again, he's just double clutching and holding just a little too long. That defensive backfield is doing something to him, and that's allowing for the defensive line to get to him. And that's a sack. A couple of those sacks look like they could be on him, and instead of getting out of there and just getting rid of the football.
Last week, Jurkovec was just the 3rd BC quarterback in the last 10 years to throw for 300 yards in a game. Did it in only 23 attempts. And again, he was 11 of 12 for 210 yards in the 2nd half. The time runs out quickly, although Jurkovec gets rid of it. Bailey crunched well shy of the line to gain. Eagles pick up 3 and will be forced to punt.
Jurkovec, I don't know how he got rid of it, but Bailey was there waiting on it. He's a big, strong guy now. He doesn't get rattled, but right here, he's going to get some prep. Boom, right there. He gets it and is still able to get rid of the football. Landon Harris said, hey, I got a sack. No, you don't. Ball gets down. They're able to get a few yards, but still have to punt it away.
He's a little Roethlisberger in the way he handles
that's what Frank
the hit.
said, yes.
Grant Carlson, who's one of 3 Texas natives on the BC roster, punts it away, and the fair catch made and called for by Jeremiah Haydell. Well, Texas State was one of the few teams in the country that started its season 3 weeks ago, and only UTEP and Texas State have played 4 college football games as of this week. San Marcos, Texas, had a variety of names through the years, but the school of nearly 40,000 has had some pretty famous alums, including a U.S. president, a country music star, and
I was in Indianapolis when Jeff Foster was there. I got to know Jeff pretty well. So I did not know. I forgot he went to Southwest Texas or Texas State.
On 1st down, nice throw and catch. McBride to Travis Graham Jr.
Talk about run-pass option or zone read, or you're getting guys over. You want to make sure you move that defender. He sees the defender. You see his head go inside and out. He sees the move, and he's able to get the ball there.
First catch of the day for the former high school high jumper Graham. And nowhere to go there on the ground for Sturgis.
I think Tim Luckaboo, the defensive coordinator, is going to start dialing up some pressure. He's going to have guys come off the edge. You just saw that one there. Jason Maitre was off the edge, but he's got to get Brady McBride uncomfortable.
Oh, great pursuit in the backfield, but McBride keeps it, scampers back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this defense now is starting to dial it up some.
There's Isaiah McDuffie getting in the backfield quick.
Yeah, he had an interception last week, and that time it looks like this defensive front is saying, okay, let's stop playing. Let's start getting penetration, and whoever gets the ball, we're going to hit him. And you're seeing that right now.
Defensive coordinator Tim Lukabu said that McDuffie has flash. He'll make some mistakes, but he's got NFL potential. McBride just slings it long, and it is intercepted. Popped up in the air and picked. And a lot of room to run down the sideline.
McBride thought it was a free play. He thought that he had got them to jump off sides. Watch the replay. The defensive front looked like they came across, but they didn't. They stopped, and he thought he had a free play. And the ball is up in the air. He throws it up. Jeremiah Haydell knows it, tries to go get it, but it's a great pick six. Great opportunity for an interception.
DeBerry pops it up. Palmer picked it. The end of one. BC in business.
When you pay extra for a turbo...
Is it?
After 15 minutes of football, Texas State has the 7-0 lead, but Boston College, who forced 5 turnovers last week, finishes the opening quarter by picking it.
Watch T.J. Ram and Isaiah McDuffie. They're going to actually come, and I think Brady McBride thinks he has a free play. You see how the offensive line stands up, and he even throws it like he's going there, and then that's why Mike Palmer is able to come over and pick it off. Huge play, but nice heads-up play by a defense that knows how to get turnovers.
DeBerry deflected it, and then Palmer intercepted it, returned it 70 yards all the way to the 6-yard line. Here's David Bailey looking for the end zone, and he'll get swarmed at the 5. Nice tackle there by Jaron Morris and the rest of the Bobcats. Let's go down to Abby on the sidelines.
Well, you guys talk about those turnovers that this BC defense forced against Duke last week, and Max Richardson, a leader on that defense, said it's been a huge emphasis having control of the ball for our defense, and if we don't, well, it's attacking the ball. At practice, we have winners and losers when it comes to rip attempts and strip attempts, and guys, they give some people funny nicknames for those that put up great numbers. They call defensive end Marcus Valdez Michael Jordan because he's a beast.
Jurkovec to the end zone. Incomplete.
Yeah, run a crossing route. You're trying to get Hunter Long and Zay Flowers, your 2 big receivers, out in the open. It's almost like max protect, only a 2-receiver situation. Zay Flowers there, he gets across. He had, look at Jaron Morris is holding the whole time.
Yeah, referees missed that one.
Yeah, they missed it, but there was only a 2-man route. And Zay Flowers is like, hey. But you see now that he was able to get the ball right, tried to go right away to Zay Flowers, and Jaron Morris got away with one there.
3rd and goal from the 5. Jeff Hafley harped all week long about needing to get touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. BC's already had 1 field goal blocked. Pressure coming. Jurkovec to the end zone. There's a flag down as Flowers can't hang on. But I believe Jaron Morris will be guilty of interference.
Yeah, they go talk to each other a little bit. Defensive back.
Pass interference, defense, number 0. Foul took place in the end zone. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
I think Zay Flowers probably said, hey, they should have got you the last time, but I know they're going to get you this time. See, Jaron Morris never turns around, and he keeps his eyes away from the quarterback. Now, they will run some coverage, and he had a 100-yard interception a few weeks ago or last week where he turns out and they will look at the quarterback. Sometimes they'll run that old David Gibbs defensive coordinator holdover, which show them how to do that technique.
And Morris 100-yard pick 6 basically finished off the Warhawks last week in Louisiana. This is Levy to the 1.
And this defense is playing some really good football. Jordan Mask is one of those guys that has to step up and play, and you can see one of the best athletes on the team. His defense didn't look good the first week. They've gotten better every week. This has been a good Texas State stand right now. Let's see if Boston College can physically just overwhelm it.
One of the things we were wondering was how Texas State's smaller and worn-down defensive line would handle the BC size up front, but so far so good. Jurkovec tries to take it himself, and he dives into the end zone for the BC touchdown.
Sometimes you just got to do it the dirty way, and you got a big guy at 6'6" and Jurkovec, and that offensive line just leans on him. Watch those red jerseys just push the white. The maroon jerseys just say, look, we're going to get in here, and we got to get this touchdown, and we got to get it now.
Jurkovec 6'5", 226.
I gave him one edge. He was 6'6" on that one. Good play, though. You can see that interior offensive line, Evan, really leaning on that defensive front, getting in for 6.
So while Longman did the kicking last week, Bumeri came up for the long field goal earlier. It was blocked. He's back to try the extra point. He's had an ongoing competition at kicker. Build on Abby's point, everything with BC under Jeff Hafley has been a competition. And we got a good one going on here tonight in Chestnut Hill. Texas State strikes first. BC responds. 7-all from after BC quarterback Phil Jurkovec takes it in from 2 yards out. It was all set up by the deflection, the interception, and the 70-yard return by Mike Palmer.
Yeah, great job by DeBerry of getting the ball up, and then Palmer finding a way back. But I really think that was one of those situations where they thought it was a penalty, and then Jurkovec just right behind Lindstrom, Petrula, and Mahogany getting in there for 6. Got to give the offensive line credit, Evan. They don't get credit unless they get their name called for something bad. So their parents always like it. And I played line when I was a little kid, so I remember that.
BC's offensive line has got to be the only O-line in the country that produces 2 different podcasts.
Oh, man.
Alec Lindstrom hosts Listen Up My Dudes, and then the 2 tackles, or Petrula and Vrabel used to play tackle. They host Between 2 Tackles. And I got to tell you, you listen to a couple minutes of Listen Up My Dudes, you get hungry. Because Alec Lindstrom always talks about food off the top. He had new BC AD Pat Kraft on. Pat Kraft is from Chicago. What do you think they talked about in the opening minutes?
Food.
Deep dish, specifically.
No, they did.
You were in Chicago this past week. You have any deep dish?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Let's go down to the field with Abby.
Yeah, guys, he also has a YouTube channel and an Instagram account called Rick's Review. He calls himself an avid food reviewer. And it's no surprise, guys, that, well, he actually wants to be a broadcaster after his football career.
He's coming for you,
Yeah,
Joe.
he is. All those young guys are, hey, at some point I got to get out of the booth. But
And because Alec would want me to, I have to ask, which destination in Chicago did you have?
Lou Malnati's is where I had it this week. And
Classic.
whenever I go back, I'm going to try all of them.
Grady McBride on a quick sling to the perimeter. Sets up Calvin Hill and gets hit pretty good by Chibuzi Onwuka, among others.
Onwuka came in. That's a defensive lineman's dream, to see a running back held up. And you'll even hear guys say, hold him up. And boom, they come in and knock you out. I've been there before, Evan. I've been there a few times.
Looking at Cheetah Salah, the sophomore from New Jersey, who the Eagles have really high hopes for. Salah had a few tackles last week against Duke. McBride has an open man, hits him perfectly. Drew Jackson down the sideline, and they may tack on 15.
Yeah, he threw that right in that hole, in that too-deep kind of area where you have to put the ball on him quick.
Jackson had 3 catches in Texas State's opener, only 1 catch the past couple of weeks. But a chunk play right here if it stands.
They're going to attack your secondary, and you have to be prepared for them to come at those areas where you're most vulnerable.
Results of the play is a completed pass for a first down. On the play, targeting defense number 8. That play is under further review.
Jamin Muse has been accused of targeting, and we'll see if it stands.
McBride with a nice throw right here, gets it in that little hole. Muse comes over. I don't know about that one. And know that the rule is what it says. He really just glances it. He actually pulls up, but since he hits him above the shoulder, they automatically throw the flag. You know, he really could come downhill, but he misses him almost in a sense and just kind of gets him with the chicken wing. And this is the one thing when you talk to defenders, it's become one of those situations where you have to pull up. And even if you pull up, you've got to make sure that any contact you have is not anywhere above the shoulder. And I think Jeff Hafley is talking to him.
Not only was this Jeff Hafley's first coaching job, when he interviewed with BC, it was his first ever head coaching interview in college football, and he said he's going to be really nice to the refs. He's not going to give them a hard time.
Well, I think if you go by the letter of the law, his helmet glances off of the receiver's helmet first, and then his arm comes. So that's where you see the head pop back.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Wow.
Number 8 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
So Jamin Muse is ejected here early in the second quarter for a targeting, which was among the least vicious targeting calls that we've seen.
Well,
New rule this year, Charles. He's able to watch the game from the sideline. He doesn't have to go to the locker room, but still he can't take the field.
We talked about it for years, flagrant 1, flagrant 2, maybe varying degrees of it, but that hasn't happened.
That was a big gain to Graham, and then the 15 yards tacked on, and now Calvin Hill bursts into the secondary for another chunk.
They really had a nice run up the middle of this BC defense.
12 yards that time for Hill. And this is nothing new. We've seen Texas State the last 3 weeks move the football against whoever they've played. And this time the ball comes loose, and McBride recovers it as he's brought down by Brandon Barlow in the backfield.
You'll see Maximilian Roberts off the edge. Just got activated this week from Maine. He came around the edge. He's able to get there so quick. Right, he's able to just beat the tackle and couldn't even get up and put his hands on him. Dalton Cooper was like, where did that flash come from? So they're trying to get him with that hard count. They couldn't quite get him there, and they thought they had a penalty before, which turned into a big play the other way.
It's a pretty good hard count. Were you a quarterback?
When I was really little, but I've heard it enough.
McBride doing his Johnny football thing, running around and goes down. He didn't even get hit, but he tumbles down at a 35-yard line. He lost 11 on the play. They
said Maximilian Roberts is going to come in, and he's going to be playing in these rush situations. McBride thought he had a chance to get away, and he's just running for his life. Great pursuit by the defensive front of Boston College.
So 2 negative plays have certainly taken the Bobcats out of field goal range. They need to get to the BC 13 for a first down on 3rd and 22.
Great discipline by the defensive line. That's offensive.
Ball start. 3rd down.
That's 74, Russell Baker. Hate to do it to you, old lineman, but he jumps, and you know the snap count. It's either, I think it's Russell Baker or Hatemeyer. Both of them may have moved, and that made the defense just come over.
3rd penalty on the Bobcats. Not a huge difference between 3rd and 22 and 3rd and 27. McBride's going to run for it, and he's going to get to about the 35, maybe the 34-yard line. And this is an interesting spot here for Jake Spavital, because I'd be very surprised if they tried a 51-yard field goal. And consequently, on 4th and this long, here comes the punting unit.
Yeah, they did such a nice job driving the ball down the field. But Boston College was very disciplined on that defensive front of not jumping off sides on the hard count a couple of times.
You think if this was 4th and 10 or 4th and 15 from this spot of the field, they might go for it. But 4th and 22, too much. Try to pin him back. Seamus O'Kelly has not kicked a touchback yet this season. And he pooches this one beautifully inside the 10. It bounces out of bounds at the 8. That's an effective kick.
It really is. Pins him in.
Sophomore O'Kelly pins BC inside the 10. Brady McBride is an improvising QB. Sometimes it goes well, and sometimes he falls flat in his face. 9:51 remaining here in the second quarter on a very pleasant Saturday night in Chestnut Hill. 7-all is your score, and Jeff Hafley, hired about 9.5 months ago now. He certainly didn't imagine that his first game at Alumni Stadium would have no fans. Here's the resume. He was very surprised that he spent just 1 year under Ryan Day in Columbus, Ohio. He expected maybe 3-4 years, and then I might have a chance to be a head coach, but the pathway accelerated quickly.
We had some great opportunities, too, not only there, but with Chip Kelly, and before that, Dave Wannstedt. He talked about Butch Davis, and all of those coaches have really helped influence him and got him in a position. And even Coach Spavital said, hey, I don't know him, but I've heard such great things about him. And that's the one thing you hear about Coach Hafley. Everybody that knows him just says they can't stop effusing about what a good guy is.
He was hired in December by Martin Jarman, who was the BC AD before leaving for UCLA. And I mean, the thing Jeff Hafley said, a first-time AD, taking a chance on a first-time head coach. And what did Hafley say? Quote, I will not let you down. So far, so good. A road win against an ACC foe last week. And here's Zay Flowers looking for space on the outside, but great pursuit. Zion Childress, the freshman from Texas, makes the stop. And now a quick word from Bojangles.
Feed the whole family with a big Bo Box. It's Bo time.
These Bojangles spots are going to make me hungry.
Hey, you know the longest line whenever you go to the Charlotte airport is the Bojangles line. It's down like 4 or 5 rows.
A little shorter these days, but still long. Levy, oh, he broke a couple of tackles. He was surrounded, and then he gets hit late out of bounds, and flags fly.
Yeah, you cannot hit the back or anybody when they're that far on the sideline. And Levy with some nice moves. Levy has had a really good game today.
Sure has.
Major contributor in special teams. He's a captain.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty.
See these defenders really flying to the football, but Levy, good blocking inside. Look at that. Hunter Long, all those offensive linemen make you miss right there, get by you, and then boom. You can't hit that late out of bounds. Torrey Spears with a key mistake there.
Got his money's worth, though.
Yeah, he did.
4th penalty on the Bobcats. Dracovic gives it to Bailey. He's met in the backfield and somehow carries the pack for a yard or 2.
Hey, Evan, you see this defensive front? Whenever they see RPO, they just fly to the football because they see it every day. They're used to that. And when they see a big guy with RPO, David Bailey can run, and he's quick. But if he doesn't get going, they're going to get right on him. That's what you have to do if you're the defensive front. That's Daniels, Ezador. You've got all those guys up there. They have to fly to the football whenever there's a chance to make a play.
2nd and 9 for the Eagles. Dracovic looking to throw this time. And he's got time, and he finds Bailey is back. And Bailey taken down by Kevin Anderson, shy of the marker. It's going to be 3rd and about 6.
And they're doing a really good job against Hunter Long, the tight end, who had a big game last week, but there's a lot of attention paid to him by either a safety or a linebacker, or a safety and a linebacker. They're really trying to take the tight end away from Jurkovec, and that could also be a reason why he struggled to find that 2nd or 3rd read in his progression.
As you see, the Eagles have not converted a 3rd down successfully yet today. Jeff Hafley hoping that changes here. Let's see what Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator and play caller, has dialed up. Blitz is coming from Zach Spavital, but the pass complete across midfield for the BC 1st down.
Jalen Gill, it's a nice catch. Transfer out of Ohio State. Working on the young fella, Zion Childress, but Jurkovec says, look, I'm decisive here. I get rid of the football. Jalen Gill, go make a play. And when we talked to Frank Cignetti, he said, this young man is going to really be a weapon for us once he gets more and more comfortable in our offense.
BC has really been bolstered. Gill now one of 6 grad transfers joining the Eagles in 2020. Jurkovec gallops his way to the 34-yard line. Another BC 1st down.
You know what I like about that? Jurkovec was decisive. He knew what he was going to do. He didn't see anybody, and it almost looked like a design run. But he says, okay, look, there's nothing there. I'm going to take it and go with it and get blockers in front of me, which you're able to do. You can see his receivers, his tight end, C.J. Lewis with the block down the field.
Eagles receivers did a really nice job blocking downfield against Duke last Saturday. Wallace Wade. Levy. Flag is down, and Levy's swarmed shy of the line of scrimmage.
This play was almost discombobulated from the very beginning.
And he almost broke it.
Yeah.
Holding, offense, number 80, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
End of the line, Hunter Long.
Correction.
Yeah.
Decline the penalty.
See, right there on the edge, right there, he's got his hands all wrapped up. He's able to get outside, but he couldn't just let him go. The defender moved around and lost his target. I've been there.
How's that feel?
It doesn't feel good. See, we usually tight ends, we never hold, right? So
Right.
when we do, it's like we can't believe it.
Referees always kind of go after the tight ends.
If you know how to work with them, they're pretty good to you.
Second down. Another short pass and no gain on the play. Levy drilled by Taylor. Christian Taylor, the Texas Tech transfer, was right there.
I've been really impressed with this defense because they have been gashed over the last few weeks. But this is a screen they're trying to set up. You can see Levy going down low. But look, they sniff it out. And great play by Christian Taylor, the transfer, like you said. He just recognizes it. And it was a slow developing screen that you really didn't have enough people out in front. So he was able to go make that play.
So it's third down. Eagles need to get to the Bobcats 24 to move the chains. Down the seam looking for Long. Great defense. Broken up by a trio of Bobcats, including Zion Childress.
You had cover 2, but you throw that too late. That's what happens with the tight end. You have the linebacker running with him. I hope he's okay, but then he took a shot.
Hunter Long, the fourth-year junior tight end. Third team All-ACC a season ago.
Yeah,
Shaken up in the goal line.
Hunter Long is there, and he's going to come, and he's got a nickel back underneath. He got 2 deep safeties there, and they know. They've been told all week, watch 80. 80 is who we have to hit. And listen to him.
That hurt just watching.
Yeah, but that's the attention that teams are going to now start paying to Hunter Long.
Good news, he did walk off the field, as you see. Shaken up a bit, though, and BC got it down to right around the 35-yard line, but pushed back a little bit. Now forced to punt. So Carlson back out there. Flag is out. And the punt bounces and is going to be down at the 14-yard line. And we'll check the marker. Just counted 11 Bobcats, so I don't think it was too many players.
It's almost like he's saying there was 12 men on the field.
Jeff Heiser will sort this situation out.
And the official ran over there and said, hey, you stop. I'm going to show you. It's 12 of you here.
There is no foul on the play for 12 players out of the field.
I thought there was 11.
I thought it was too because I did a quick count.
No foul on the play. It'll be Bobcats ball at the 14 when we return. Saturday Night College football packing a punch in Chestnut Hill.
ACC football is brought to you by Bojangles. It's bow time. Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. And your local Ford dealer.
Nice views of the Boston skyline as we play football under the lights here in Chestnut Hill. There are 4 different sections of cutouts. One is all canines. It's Canine Collaborative of BC fans. Bobcats ball. And the Cats have been feisty tonight as well. That was Jamil Jeter, the transfer from Oklahoma State, making his Texas State debut tonight, taking it out near first down yardage. He picked up 8. It'll be 2nd and 2.
We haven't seen much of Sturgis, but you're seeing Jeter and Hill getting a lot more action tonight.
McBride keeps it himself this time. And that's something that the other Brady never did in New England. Trying to hurdle a defender at his own 25-yard line. Josh DeBerry gets credit for the stop. McBride climbed him.
Brady McBride going over the top. But Isaiah McDuffie coming with a hard hit at the very end.
Yeah, you pay the price for throwing your body around like that.
He'll feel that one tomorrow.
And the day after that, too, probably. Did pick up the first down, though, out to the 25-yard line. Pressure coming, and down goes McBride. Sheeta Salah slings the Texas State QB to the turf.
Salah does a great job coming off the edge. He doesn't pay attention to all the other madness. He just wants to get right there and make a play. Watch him there. He says, okay, I see people coming at me, but I see the quarterback, and I'm going to get him. And then I'm going to show you how strong I am at the same time. It's a great play. They wanted to slip the running back outside. McBride had no time to get that ball to him.
Second sack for Salah in his career, sophomore. Up the middle.
Neither team has done much on third down.
Teams 2 for 9 combined on third down. Don't forget, coming up at the half, your local halftime presented by your local Toyota dealer. Get a report from the Carrier Dome. What a wacky day that was for our friends Tom Wormy and James Bates. Lindsey Rowley, they had a delay at the start. They'll update us on what happened. And McBride got the defensive tackle to jump, so he'll take the deep shot. The deep spiral is incomplete.
I think that's going to be Luke Beckett. And they finally were able to get
Offside.
them offside.
Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
It's Jeremiah Haydell shaking up on the sideline. That's something important to watch. Here's the end of the play.
Jeremiah Haydell goes up. Palmer just comes down on his leg at the very end of the play.
So they get 5 yards on the penalty, but they lose Haydell, their top playmaker on the perimeter. This is a deep receiving core, though. Shareed in motion. McBride buys some time, completes it, and then absorbing the hit, Trevis Graham Jr. takes it out to the 40 for the first down.
Graham does a nice job of securing the catch, knowing he's going to take a big shot. He's able to take it and then just not worry about it at the very end. Actually, the defender hurts himself with the hit. Flat corner comes, knows you're there, coming across the edge. And he just lays. Deion Jones is able to come back as a safety and peel back in. Graham.
Timeout.
Deion Jones shaken up. We step aside.
1, 2, 3.
Maryland walked off the field, went and sat on the table, and then they lifted the black tent over him. Our cameras are sneaking for a peek. There are no fans here to look, but Deion Jones, recruited to Maryland by Azar Abdul-Rahim. He's now the BC defensive back coach, so he brought him to Chestnut Hill, and he delivered the hit, but he's the one that took the worst of it.
Yeah, it just looks like he came in with a good shot on Graham. Graham able to keep his balance. Yeah, that's just a tough shot for Deion Jones.
Well, a week ago down in North Carolina, BC escaped relatively healthy. Josh DeBerry had a couple of stitches, but he's obviously good to go. The nature of football, depth, especially during these COVID times with contact tracing. We should talk about the job that BC has done.
Yep.
Sacrificing to play football. BC has been one of the examples across all of college football for discipline, for sacrifice, for doing the right thing to be able to play football during these extraordinary times.
And that's the one thing they've been able to find a way not to. I mean, guys have maintained a focus and, you know, been able to stay pretty positive, clean or negative.
Back to football, 1st and 10. McBride hits Jeter. His first catch as a Bobcat. Look, for a little more on what BC has done, let's check in with Abby.
Yeah, I have a great story from Coach Hafley, guys. He said, you know, he gets the guys to buy in for each other, put others before themselves. He actually had one of the seniors, Max Richardson, stand up at one point, and Coach Hafley said, look at Max. It's his senior season, last season here. If you put yourself in a risky situation, you risk putting Max's entire season in jeopardy.
And because of that, as Jeter breaks through into the secondary, a good, strong run. And into BC territory down to the 36. As we tick toward 2 minutes remaining in this first half.
Texas State is hanging in this ball game, and now you have an issue with an ejected player at safety with Jamin Mooses, and then also Deion Jones, who was injured.
And Hughes and Jones, the two safeties. Cam Arnold, Mike Palmer. Behind them on the depth chart, McBride buying time, throws it, and it should have been picked off. DeBerry dropped it.
Yeah, it hit him right in the best place and the worst place, if if you want to call it that. DeBerry really was trying to run too quickly. Brady McBride scrambling, keeping the play alive. Defense, offensive line holding up. They know where he's going to move, and he hits DeBerry right in the hands, and he knew right away. Josh, you got to catch that one. Got to catch that one.
And Brady's got to be breathing a sigh of relief.
Yes.
McBride again, quick throw, complete. On the slant, Texas State will move the chains again and take it into the red zone.
Nice read there on the pass option. He sees that overhang defender move. That spot's vacated. You throw right into that area.
17 yards on that completion. And he throws it again, Drew Jackson.
Almost the same exact play, but with double slants, or what we call a glance if it's one. He just says, okay, if you're not going to put an overhang safety or somebody out there in that area, I'm going to throw to it, and we're going to get a first down again.
Drew Jackson ran out of his cleat at that play. So he runs to the sideline, but it's first and goal from the 6. 9-play, 67-yard drive here. It started back at the Bobcat 14-yard line. Beg your pardon, 10 plays, 80 yards
Great
on the
catch.
drive, and that's a touchdown. Texas State. Marcel Barbee did it again for the Bobcats.
He only had one arm to go up and
Pass
get the
interference. Defense number 20. That penalty's declined. Results of the play. Touchdown.
Yet another highlight reel catch for the Texas State receiving crew.
This defensive staff was worried about this. Elijah Jones is right there with him. God, if you get him there, if I'm even, I'm leaving. And then he holds him there, only has one arm to go up and get it. Great job by McBride of putting it up so he can apex it. Elijah Jones knows he's beat for 6.
Wow. It's an 86-yard drive over 4+ minutes. Seth Keller to tack on the point after. 14-7, Texas State.
Sun Belt Conference has been a nemesis to everybody else this season. And you can see Jake Spavital said, we've got a chance now. We're starting to play better football. We've got to be aggressive and compete. And they're competing tonight. There's the one thing, Evan, that when you watch film and you watch this team over the first few weeks, you know, they were uneven. A lot of guys had transferred into this program. 54 or more guys that have moved into this program. We're calling different people that are playing as of this week. But what I think has been good for Jake and his crew is that they've learned how to have some success. And I think that's what he was saying. They hadn't had that in a while.
Well, you mentioned the Sun Belt success so far this year. A couple weeks ago, Louisiana over Iowa State. By the way, the Cyclones won at TCU today, 37-34. Arkansas State beat Kansas State. K-State beat number 3 Oklahoma in Norman today.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just one of those things where you look at these teams and you gotta compete, and they're getting the opportunity to show who they are across the country and in different conferences. The Power 5 conferences, they're coming in saying, hey, we're going to compete. We're going to fight, claw, scratch, do everything we can against you.
Levy lets it soar into the end zone, and we'll see if BC tries to attack here.
Now, this is the one thing I thought about coming into this game, and I think I talked to you about it. The overconfident nature of BC thinking.
They got Carolina next week, a top 15 UNC team.
Looking ahead a little bit, but also watching the same film that I did. And if you watch this Texas State team early in the year, this is a different ball club. And if they can keep in the game, that's all you want to do when you're on the road. You want to just battle. I always used to say this, and you bring your toothbrush, you bring a change of underwear and some deodorant, and you go on the road. That's a business trip. That's all you have to have when you're playing football. They'll supply everything else. And I think that's what Texas State has chose to do today.
First ever meeting between BC and Texas State. Hunter Long back in the game, makes the catch at the 31. And obviously this is not a game that was originally on BC's schedule. Eagles originally had Ohio out of the Mid-American Conference, but when the MAC decided not to play, Jeff Hafley says they just called around. We tried to call everybody, and this was the one game that worked. Jurkovec, a little indecisive, gets rid of it, throws it up to the sideline, incomplete. He got hit pretty good.
At least he was able to get rid of it, but he's got it. That clock has to go off in his head. Sometimes if you're a bigger guy and you can move around and you can make plays like that, you hold on a little too long. We've seen Ben Roethlisberger do that, and that was a comparison that Frank Cignetti said about Jurkovec. He's got to know the clock in his head and get rid of the football when he has an opportunity.
Before last year, Jeff Hafley spent his previous 7 seasons in the NFL. He was a Giants fan growing up, so he felt a little bit like Bill Parcells in the 80s getting the Gatorade bath at the end of the game last week at Duke. 3rd down for Jurkovec. He completes it short, and that will be enough to move the chains.
Jalen Gill is slowly getting involved in this offense because they've tried to take away Hunter Long and Zay Flowers, so you've got to get other guys. He and C.J. Lewis have to make plays.
Under 30 seconds now. Eagles have 2 timeouts. Great arm for Jurkovec. He just launches it deep, and it is intercepted. Another play for Jaron Morris, who's been the Bobcats' defensive star of the half.
That was not a good throw at all by Jurkovec. Don't throw that ball too far because that's what happens. You got to either get rid of it or get to somebody. He's trying to get it down the field to Zay Flowers, but he overthrows Zay Flowers by a mile. And this is just not a good play for this BC offense.
And by the way, Zay Flowers doesn't have a catch in this first half.
Yeah, they've used him on jet sweeps, but I'm telling you, Zach Spavital has done a nice job
Sure
of,
has.
you know, really taking away the 2 big weapons that we saw last week. They're going to have to make some adjustments, Frank Cignetti and his staff.
So now each quarterback has thrown 1 pick apiece. And Texas State has 19 seconds and 3 timeouts. Give up the middle. Calvin Hill scampers across the 25 to the 27.
Yeah, I think they'll be content with going in with a 14-7 lead at halftime, Texas State.
Impressive first half for the Texas State Bobcats. They outgained BC 206 to 109 in the yards department. More importantly, they outscore them where it counts 14-7.
Yeah, there's some adjustments that have to be made by Boston College. They are the much bigger team, but maybe came in a little overconfident. Texas State, look, they've been on the road. This is their 4th game. I talked about it, the improvement from week 1 to week 2. Let's see if BC can make those adjustments at halftime, and let's see if Texas State will come out and keep fighting like they did in this first half.
Bobcats obviously a much improved team with over 50 new players from a year ago. They've got a lead on the road, and we've got their head coach with Abby.
Coach, a huge play for your defense there going into the locker room. What's impressed you the most about the way they've come out and handled the physicality?
Yeah, we knew this was going to be a challenge, so I think they've kind of rose to the occasion right now. I still think that we're leaving a lot of football out there, but we're starting to play a little bit of complementary football and kind of playing off of the energy and the motion of each side right now.
You're leaving a lot of football out there. What exactly is that, and what's going to be the message in the locker room?
We got to clean up the penalties right now, all right? We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. We got to make sure that we're getting ourselves more in manageable situations because right now we're doing a lot of freestyle ball, and that's not going to win this game, all right? We got to clean that up, clean up the penalties, and make sure that we're being a lot more efficient in this second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Jake Spavital, just his 2nd year, the 2nd youngest head coach in FBS, trying to get another impressive win for the Sun Belt. Texas State leading Boston College 14-7 at the half. Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. The 1984 Heisman Trophy won by Doug Flutie, one of the many great BC quarterbacks who have roamed the field here in Chestnut Hill. 14-7, Texas State, a surprising first half lead. Around the ACC earlier today, Pittsburgh, an impressive win over Louisville, 23-20. Virginia came back from trailing early in that game. I think it was 10-0 Duke, but the Cavaliers look like they're on their way to a win. A couple interesting ball games tonight down in the Sunshine State. Seminoles, Canes, also NC State and Virginia Tech. Season opener for Justin Fuente's Hokies. And of course, Syracuse gets its first win of the season, 37-20 over Georgia Tech, a game that was bizarrely delayed at the outset, and yet Tommy DeVito, Dino Babers and company come through over the 60 minutes of football. James Bates and Tom Wormy were there.
From the Dome, 37-20, the Orange open up the newly refurbished facility on campus with the victory over the Yellow Jackets, their first in 4 all-time meetings with Georgia Tech. Tom and James with you from our broadcast position. Ernie Davis Legends Field. It was all about the offense for the Orange today, James.
New dome looks good. More importantly, that offense and the Orange looked really good. After starting 0-2, a tough start against 2 very tough teams, UNC and then at Pitt last week. The stat that stood out the most to me the first couple weeks, 7 sacks given up in each game. They protected Tommy DeVito today, and they did it thanks in large part to a good run game, a good solid run game. So they were able to have some balance and keep the Georgia Tech defense on their toes. A clean game, too, by Dino Babers' team. Only 5 penalties, whereas I believe there were 11 for Georgia Tech. A little bit more sloppy than they had played, and they certainly couldn't have won that in week 1, playing like that in Tallahassee.
You mentioned the ground game for the Orange.
Yeah.
Why don't we look at it? Because it got the scoring started with Sean Tucker up the middle.
Hey, young man, come out here and show us some highlights.
Not down, James.
No, he rolls right over the defender and keeps on going. Presence of mind to get things started. There's your first touchdown in the new and improved dome. And, well, hey, not done there. Punches it in again behind an offensive line that not only protected in the pass even better, but the run blocking was there as well. The defense got after Jeff Sims for the most part, but here he is connecting on one of a few pretty throws, but it was a rough day for the most part for Sims as he had 4 interceptions and taking advantage of it when they got on offense. There's Taj Harris. He had the big touchdown reception from Rex Culpepper last week, and this time it's Tommy DeVito finding this speedster.
Game got close, though. Georgia Tech closed the gap to 3 late in the 3rd, but the Orange had the answer.
The Orange answered there. There's another touchdown, a short run for Georgia Tech, and there's another long bomb. This time, Nykeem Johnson, who also was good in the kick return game, flexing his stuff there in the end zone. And there's interception number 4 by Carter, but he's not done. Little lateral, too. Trill Williams. There he is, and that got him excited here in Syracuse. Those that were allowed in the building anyway.
68 yards on the play, James. And again, the final from Syracuse, New York, 37-20. First win of the season for the Syracuse Orange.
Here I come, Dinosaur Barbecue.
I'm getting hungry. Dinosaur Barbecue. We got a good game at the half here in Chestnut Hill. Brady McBride to Marcel Barbie. That scores the difference right now. Bobcats by 7. Chestnut Hill ACC college football has Boston College trailing the Texas State Bobcats out of the Sun Belt Conference 14-7. It's impressive because, Charles, we didn't know which quarterback was going to start when we woke up this morning. McBride's back in there, and he hasn't missed a beat.
Throwing on time, throwing on schedule. He had to scramble some, but he's really been able to move. You can see him move, get in different platforms of the pocket, and find open receivers. Watch, throwing on time or finding the second read, and he was really effective in that touchdown drive. 2 plays in a row, which got them in position to the big man. Barbie here going up high with one hand for 6. This was a huge drive and a huge situation for those guys because they were on the road making plays.
Memphis transfer with his touchdown pass to Barbie to give Texas State the lead. I think both coaches want to clean up the penalties, 1 turnover per side, but it's the Bobcats that have been a little more explosive offensively.
Explosive, but also look at the rush yards. I thought Boston College was going to really be able to run the football more effectively. And you could hear even on the sideline at the breaks, we got to run the football. That's not enough yardage. 57 yards is not going to get it done. They have to be more effective in order for this offense to get going.
Evan Lepler, Charles Arbuckle back with you here at Alumni Stadium. We were expecting points tonight, and plenty of them. I don't know if we were expecting the physicality that we've seen from both teams.
Yeah, I think when we talked to these coaches, they both knew. Coach Spavital said, look, we've got to match their intensity. They're going to have one-on-one battles we have to win. They've won that in the first half. Boston College, on the other hand, has looked, they've struggled some, and that surprised me. the way for them is to get the ball going on the ground and then turning the ball over. They did a great job of that last week. They've got to do it again.
I wonder what Jeff Hafley is thinking right now, because he's told his team, look, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you focus, you work your butt off. Saturday, you can't be tight. You go out, you have fun. If you're not afraid to fail, what's the issue?
Yeah, it looks like they're playing tight. And also, like we said at the end of the second quarter, like they were looking ahead or a little overconfident. I don't think they will be in the second half at all.
Jeff Hafley has said he hates having tight teams, tight defenses. He wants them to play fearless. We'll see how the Eagles come out in the second half. It's been a physical game here at Alumni Stadium. Eagles trail by 7.
ACC Football is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. Your local Sherwin-Williams paint store. Painting questions? Ask Sherwin-Williams. And Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today.
Beautiful night downtown Boston, Massachusetts. But the Eagles need to get the offense rolling. They trail 14-7 at the half. Coming up next week on your regional sports network, we're down in Tallahassee. The Florida State Seminoles will either be 1-1 or 0-2. They got Miami tonight. They got Jacksonville State next week. Phil Jurkovec, only 52 passing yards in the first half for BC. Got picked off once. Eagles receive to start the second half on the other side of the break.
Imagine a few.
These schools have played football for over 100 years. The first ever meeting between Texas State and BC tonight has the Bobcats up by 7. And moments ago, Abby Labar caught up with BC coach Jeff Hafley.
Coach, uncharacteristic of your offense right now, how do you get them to generate more offense coming out in the second?
Well, we just were going backward too much. We were getting a positive play, then we were having a self-inflicted penalty or a sack that was taking us back. We just got to stay on course, be consistent, go play like we know we can.
Brady McBride's moving around a lot. How do you contain him on defense?
Well, I think we had him a few times. We forced him to bad throws. We should have picked him off twice. Our guys just need to line up and go play. And that really is the truth, and that's what we're going to do in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Jeff Hafley almost always gives you a direct answer.
Yeah, he really does. He doesn't hold back at all on that. I think the other thing, too, is you've got to look at this offense and really figure out how you can get going in this second half. Sack yards also count against your yards, which doesn't help either. But 57 rush yards for a team that has to live and die by the run to set up play-action passes is just not enough.
3 halves of football so far. The Boston College offense has been sacked 8 times.
And a few of them today, in particular, have been quarterback related. Jurkovec, you know, you got to get rid of the football in certain times.
You got to imagine one of the keys to the second half for Frank Netti's offense is getting the football into the hands of number 4, Zay Flowers, who has 2 carries for 4 yards, does not have a catch. He's in motion, moving in tight to the formation. And Travis Levy takes the opening handoff of the half, and pretty nice defense there by Texas State. Covering that space. Again, that was number 11, Zion Childress, who's really been one of the surprises of the season for the Bobcats.
When you run to the field, this is a team that's got a lot of speed, so they just run with you. And even though Levy is fast, they just keep stringing them and use the sideline as their friend. The other thing is you've got to figure out a way to get positive yards and stay ahead of the chain so you're not in 3rd and long.
Picked up 1 yard on the run with Levy. Back to Levy, and he loses a bunch. Nico Ezador in the backfield for the Bobcats.
Yeah, the slow developing play will allow big 95 Ezador a chance and an opportunity to make a play. He doesn't get touched because they were really working on him as the key guy in the midline right there. But when Jurkovec decides to keep the football, he just says, hey, I'm going to go in my responsibility. Somebody else will get the quarterback. Really nice job by the defensive lineman of making a play there.
Another tackle for loss for Isidore, and that one was -6. Creates 3rd and 15. Jurkovec has plenty of time to see the field. And he will sling to the sideline. Hunter Long catches at the 30, and he's out of bounds at the 33, and that's 2 yards shy of the line to gain.
And I think this BC team is saying we're going to go up here, and they look like they're going to go with the punt team. I thought if it was a little closer, they may have gone. So what you have now is if you're in 3rd and long, this defense can just say, look, we're going to play, keep everything in front of us, and then come downhill to make a play. And that's what they were able to do there on the big tight end, Hunter Long.
So the -6 tackle for loss by Nico Isidore, the key play on that series. BC goes 3 and out. And Carlson, it's a line drive punt that's going to hop. And it's going to roll. And that's going to be a pretty nice punt for Carlson. Comes to a stop at the 13.
Sorry about that. I mean, you can't get the rhythm on offense. And we talked about first half, second half. When you come out, you want to have these scripted plays. But it's hard to have them if you're not getting first downs, if you're not moving with positive yards.
54 yards on that punt from Carlson. No return. Nice job flipping the field. Now the question becomes, can BC slow down McBride, who really had a dazzling first half, almost better than the numbers suggest. I mean, he ran for -2 yards officially, but he was elusive. Sacked 3 times by the BC defense. And there's a pretty good job to start the series. Cheetah Salah in the backfield.
And I can see why Brady McBride is so good, because of his ball handling skills. Watch the fake, how he rides it. He makes everything look the same. Sturgis has nowhere to run there. Good job, interior defensive line, just making a play and swallowing him up.
BC fans, by the way, have to be wondering what's the deal with David Bailey. He's only carried the ball 2 times tonight. McBride for Texas State to the outside. And well, it's good to see Jeremiah Haydell all right. He was shaken up late in the first half. He makes the catch.
We were talking about Bailey, and I asked if even Abby was looking for him. He's fine. He just hasn't had a lot of touches tonight. But this Texas State team, look again. Look, your playbook opens up so much when it's 3rd and 2 as opposed to 3rd and 13, 3rd and 10. You stay ahead of the chains by winning on 1st and 2nd down. That's how you win ball games.
Look out for the tight end, Blake Aragon, in the slot. Now he's in motion. Quick slant. It's Travis Graham Jr. And on 3rd and short, that'll be enough for the first down.
They use him as almost as a decoy to move the defense over, and then you get those guys in the back end over. So he's able to see that. Brady McBride pulls it out quick because he knows pressure's coming. Whenever pressure comes, that's the vacated area you throw to.
Tackle made by Elijah Jones, but a first down for Texas State. McBride scurries back to the line of scrimmage into the arms of T.J. Ram.
Good hustle by the big man. T.J. Ram running around trying to make a play. You got to win those first downs. I keep talking about 1st and 2nd down against this Bobcat team. You got to beat them there and force them in the 3rd and long.
2nd and 10 at the moment. Empty backfield for McBride. 5 wide receivers to choose. And he picks his own number and then steps up, throws it downfield. It's dislodged. Drew Jackson had it, but could not hang on.
Jason Maitre, nice job of staying on his receiver and just running with them and not letting them get comfortable. Stayed right there step for step and then just fights the ball away. Great defensive play right there to put him in 3rd and long. Those are the battles that you are accustomed to when you're playing in fall camp. You got to win as a receiver. A DB does a nice job right there.
Bobcats 3 of 7. 4-man rush. Big McBride escapes. Downfield, completes it. What a throw. Chandler Spates into BC territory. First down and more for the Bobcats.
It was almost Houdini-like.
It was.
From McBride to get out. You saw him throwing on time, but that time he just feels pressure coming from the edge. Knows that his back can't get either one. Okay, I'm going to make one miss and then stay alive. If you're a receiver, your eyes get big because you know he has to throw the ball down the field to you.
He had an open guy, but that was a tough throw. Yeah. There was a defender in the lane. McBride's not going to Houdini this one. He gets ripped down in the backfield there by McDuffie.
McDuffie said enough of this now.
Yes, he did.
You know, I let you get away the last time. I'm not going to let you get away from me this time. McDuffie coming off the edge, the right side of your screen, 55, just says, hey, look, I've had enough of this. And Valdez, we heard Abby say, is like MJ, Michael Jordan, because of his turnover ability, was a little bit nicked up right there.
BC's defense getting nicked up all over the place tonight, along with Jamin Muse going down with the targeting, getting ejected early in the second quarter, and that's the best run of the night for Brock Sturgis.
Yeah, Sturgis, we hadn't seen a lot of them, but they said they were going to run 3 guys or more. We've seen almost at least 3 so far today, and it's keeping that running back crew fresh.
So Sturgis just took it 13 yards there. He's the 4th different ball carrier for Texas State to have a double-digit yards carry so far.
He takes the direct snap. They put McBride, move him out to get this short pickup. See, those are the kind of things you can do when you're in 3rd and short. That's just a little wrinkle to what you've seen all year. You're going to see McBride work outside, direct snap, so he doesn't have to hand the ball off that offensive line. Look at that. Look at those white jerseys pushing now. The color is moving back. If you're the defensive front, you've got to be moving to the other side.
It's hard not to appreciate some of the things that Jake Spavital has done tonight. I mean, the son of a coach, his father Steve was a longtime high school coach in Oklahoma. Said he's kind of the black sheep of the family, coaching offense. Everyone else is a defensive guy, including his older brother Zach, who's the coordinator for these Bobcats.
Evan, the other thing is when you talk to him, there was a calm and a quiet confidence that they seem to have, and you could see this team improving every week. And my concern when I see games like this is this team has played 4 weeks, this team has only played 1. So have you worked out all your kinks, and have you got everything out of you from that first to 4th week?
Second down after Max Richardson made the stop on first, but that's a nice pass and a touchdown-saving stop by Isaiah McDuffie. Calvin Hill was off to the races, 1st and goal anyway.
And this defense is getting tired. They're walking around. This is a nice play design. Watch, almost like a little pop pass. You go inside, McBride bends down. McDuffie is the guy that has to cover Calvin Hill in that one-on-one coverage. He's able to get there and make a touchdown-saving tackle. But that was a huge play by him.
What a drive this has been for Texas State, including the Houdini-like play from McBride to Spates. This time Sturgis runs into a crowd, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Sturgis from Allen, Texas, transferred in from Arizona State. Tell them protect the football is one of the things they're doing. And the other thing is, let's not have any negative plays right here. We got ourselves going the last time. One of the times in the first half, they got here and moved all the way back. No negative plays right here.
McBride, quick out on the perimeter and into the end zone. Texas State has another touchdown.
And while you're at it, get the ball out to Marcel Barbie and let him go to work. This is... I'm not going to say I'm shocked, but I thought BC was going to really be able to do what I saw them do against Duke. This Texas State team is just coming out battling. And if you have Bayou ability, I can give you one move one way, and I'm going to come back in and score.
Beat Sebastian, and then Palmer.
They get the ball. They get the ball out to their guys in space, and that's what they say they want to do. And BC has to find a way to make those adjustments.
Second touchdown of the night for Marcel Barbie to culminate a 13-play, 87-yard, 6-minute, 4-second drive, which followed the 54-yard punt. Barbie gets the ball, takes it in, 21-7. Never beaten a Power 5 conference opponent That could change tonight. There's a lot of football left to be played midway through this third quarter, but Texas State leads by a couple of touchdowns on the back of 2 TD scores from Marcel Barbie. Evan Lepler, Charles Arbuckle, Abby Labar down on the sideline, and this feels like a turning point situation here for Boston College.
Yeah, critical that you come away with points and you have something positive happen for your offense, because the offense has struggled. You've left your defense out too long, and they're starting to wear down against this Texas State team that can really put points and pressure you on the offensive end.
Curious to get Abby's thoughts on her vantage point from the sideline after this kickoff. Levy bursting up the middle out across the 25. Abby, how's it going down there?
Well, guys, BC set up in good field position for Phil Jurkovec and his offense to get to work. And need I remind you guys that Jurkovec wasn't even cleared to play until August 4th. So he immediately had to embrace this leadership role as a starter. And I asked offensive coordinator Frank Cignetti about how he's just grown through that process. And he says he's grown not just as a player, but as a person, how positive and encouraging he is on the sideline. And guys, I witnessed that down here. Jurkovec came off after the first possession and immediately started calling for his running backs. He gets in front of them, is talking to them, coaching them up, and as soon as he's done with them, he goes down to his wide receivers, and he's doing the same exact thing.
Hunter Long makes the catch and takes it out to the 45. A good start to the drive.
Good boot action. You get this team that's really fast, moving one way, you go the other. You get your big tight end involved. Those are the kind of things you have to do. And your quarterback gets comfortable. Look how they move one way, and then you see people coming back over, and your tight end just kind of settling there. Hunter Long, you can find him. Easy throw and catch to get this offense going.
Interesting report, though, from Abby talking about Jurkovec's leadership on the sideline during this adversity. His first real adversity as the Boston College leader.
I think Frank Cignetti also knows his leadership ability, but then right here he's calling some plays where he can put his big guy out in the open space and use Hunter Long. That was almost just like, I'm going to secure the end and then let you come and run, and I'm going to pick up some blocks for you so we can pick up some positive yards. That's 2 big chunk plays that, comparatively speaking, for this BC team that we haven't seen for a while.
2nd and 3 after the 7-yard scamper. Now Jurkovec leaves the backfield, and we're going to get a direct snap. Levy going to keep it. Jurkovec's going to throw a block. And they kind of meet at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 BC.
I like this play right there. That was really nice.
Illegal offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's coming back, and we'll get a quick word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
So a pretty good play there, nullified by the 6th Boston College penalty of the night.
That's the one thing you can't do. You pick up positive yards, you have a momentum going, and then a penalty. You can't hurt yourself like that.
2nd and 3 becomes 2nd and 8. Takes away the 1st down run. They're going to direct snap it to Levy again, and this time he's drilled in the backfield. Samuel Obiang.
Huge play by Obiang because they wanted to run to the short side of the field, away from the field access. And look, he's just able to beat his player, Christian Mahogany, the first-year starter, and get in there with a nice play. This defensive line was much maligned. Only 5 players early in the year. Now they're starting to play with some attitude and intensity. Huge play. 2 negative plays in a row after you've had some positive movement.
Obiang's one of the best nose tackles in all of college football, who hails from the capital of Canada, Ontario. Ottawa, Ontario, Obiang's hometown. 3rd and 13 for Jurkovec. He's got time. He's got a wide open man. It's the backup tight end, Spencer Witter. And that is what Boston College needed.
Nice job by Jurkovec of just taking his time, patiently finding, because he had a lot of time. He had a lot of opportunity to really get the ball out there to Spencer Whittier is right there, and then all he does is just kind of creep out. Watch, they're going to have everything moving. He blocks, and then he gets there, wide open, everyone moving away from him. There were 2 deep posts. He's able to run down the field. Really nice job and play design.
It's his first career reception. Goes for 22 yards on 3rd and 13. Here's David Bailey. Cruising back from Ridgely, Maryland. Delivers the hit.
They really want to get him in a position where they can run the football effectively and out in space. And Brendan Looper, not a big guy. He came up hard. Nephew of Missouri offensive coordinator Curtis Looper. Looper was a long time great running back in high school in the Texas area and college as well at Oklahoma State. He's been a lot of places at Missouri now as offensive coordinator.
6th play of the drive. Jalen Gill again shows off his quickness.
What I do like about this drive is that they're getting it to different people, different folks. I think Frank Cignetti's offenses are always designed to find a matchup issue, but now he's just finding guys that are open.
And yet they haven't gotten it to the ACC wide receiver of the week, Zay Flowers, who went 5 for 162 and a score last Saturday.
Zach Spavital is saying, look, I'm going to let everybody else beat us. I'm not letting number 4 beat us.
Flowers in motion. Jurkovec roaming right. Under pressure, gets rid of it, throws into traffic, and it's broken up. Childress was there with the coverage, and then the Looper came in to smack it away.
That was a situation where he's really trying to get to his big tight end down the field because he's a matchup problem at 6'5". He's taller than most of those defenders. He can box out. But really nice defense right there by Texas State of not letting him go up and high point the football. BC offense is really, you can see them even looking at them. They've got to find a way to get in the end zone here. If not, they've got to come away with 3 points.
Jurkovec gives it to Bailey, and David Bailey rumbles down to at the 21.
That was really good blocking, Evan, by that left side of the line, along with the tight end Hunter Long, creating a big hole for Bailey. I think Bailey's starting to get his rhythm as well.
That's good news for BC. Into the CPI security red zone, where the Eagles are 1 of 2 tonight. They missed a short field goal. That was blocked by Jaron Morris. Bailey on 3rd and short, gets close to the marker and will move the chains.
What this also does for you is your defense, who's been on the field a lot this half.
Great point.
Giving them a chance to now regroup and make tackles because they weren't sound on that last drive, and they needed a chance just to regroup. And now you have the Texas State defense on their heels, wondering what you're going to do next.
We wonder that as well. Levy is the lone man in the backfield with Flowers in motion. Levy breaks 1 tackle, not another. Lost a few yards. Brought down by Mask.
Yeah, this defense is too fast. You can't go outside. Press the hole. Just stay there. I think Levy thought he had enough to get outside. And that's a situation where you just say, press the hole right here. Look, he's going to go downhill. Just stay right there. Stay. Go to 55. Don't try to go out because they're contained from the outside. You lose yardage that way. Those are the little things that week 2, you're working out. You've got to find a way now to get back on the positive side.
Play action. Jurkovec completes it. Hunter Long inside the 5. This is going to be spotted right around the 2-yard line, which will probably set up 1st and goal.
Hunter Long has become his security blanket. 7 catches last week. This week, you just got to find your big target. He's working downhill, and then they've done this a few times with him. He works outside, Jurkovec, and then they find him on the inside.
And Jeff Heiser stops the clock. They're going to bring out the sticks and measure. It'll either be 3rd and short from just outside the 2 or 1st and goal. And I think it's going to be about the length of the football shy.
I do like what they're doing.
Less than that.
Frank Cignetti is using boot action. He's doing different things to make that Texas State defense move around and give them some things to think about from an eye discipline standpoint, where they, you see something and you think, I got to react. But right now, he's giving them some window dressing and giving them a lot of different looks to make Jurkovec feel comfortable with his receivers to get in open spaces as well.
Remember, BC's only touchdown tonight was Jurkovec taking it himself up the middle from the 2. On 3rd and about 6 inches. He's got the first down. And he's got the touchdown. BC in position to slice the gap in half as Jurkovec takes it in for the 2nd time tonight.
You said it before that drive. They had the answer, and they did a really nice job of doing that, even with some negativity to the drive as well. But just, again, if you've got a big guy, get behind those 3. You see how they come into almost a wedge? All 3 of those guys get together. Jurkovec knows where to go. He can find the opening, gets in for 6.
I wonder if Jurkovec was like, listen up, my dudes. We're going between 2 tackles. Shout out to the BC podcasting department. Mary sends the extra point through, and the Eagles have narrowed the gap down to 7. 12 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and BC ready for a battle. Week 2 for Boston College, week 4 for Texas State. Plenty of conferences announcing this past week, Charles Arbuckle, that they're going to try and return the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Mid-American Conference. And here's the bottom line. This is going to be a crazy, unpredictable season, both in terms of which teams are able to play. Can you field a roster each week? And then just look at around the country at some of the results that we've seen today, week to week. It's going to be a roller coaster.
You don't know who's going to be able to play. You don't know who's going to have an opportunity to get on the field. But what you do know is at least you got a chance to try it. And I think that's the really cool thing about this year, unlike any that we've seen before.
There's no question about that. I know we are so grateful to be a part of it, and the players as well. The hashtag We Want to Play really taken off over the summer, and we are playing. Boston College trails by 7. Returnable for Jeremiah Haydell. He'll take it to the 25-yard line with 6 seconds left in the 3rd. Quick timeout. Travis Levy, one of the captains of this BC team, trying to will the comeback.
We had a home
win as he tries to build this Texas State program. He worked under Dana Holgerson at West Virginia and was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M and spent time at Cal and Oklahoma State. He's worked under some pretty prolific offensive gurus, and at just 35, it seems like he's a star on the rise.
Well, he said he and Dana Holgerson have been kicked out of the air raid a few years ago because they like to do 12 and 11. Davis Webb is a guy that he's worked with. Johnny Manziel, Will Greer, who I saw in high school play Daniel Jones back in Charlotte.
Wow.
And those are guys that he's had, and he said Cliff Kingsbury is a real good friend. So you know offensive football, those 2 guys, I'd love to hear their conversations about the game.
Yeah, there were some chirps about potentially Jake Spavital becoming the offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals when Cliff Kingsbury went there.
They're really close friends. They talk a lot of ball, and it's interesting to see what Cliff is doing with Kyler Murray on the pro level, just like Spavital has done with this McBride kid.
Speaking of stars on the rise.
Oh, man. He is something special.
Over 300 yards of offense so far for the Texas State Bobcats. McBride's 15 of 20 for 190 and 2 scores. And this will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. BC in its home opener has to come from behind. 21-14, Texas State leads after 3. You want a ball game headed to the 4th, and we've got one. Evan Leffler, Charles Arbuckle. We thought we'd see a lot of offense. The defense has been really feisty tonight, and Texas State has come to play.
They really have, and I talked about the one thing I was concerned for. Boston College, is this just your 2nd game? Have you got all the kinks that you've worked out? Texas State, they talked about it all week when we talked to them. We're confident. We're going to go in and play. We know we have to match their physicality. They've done that so far. I'm wondering if they can hold on for another quarter or if BC can put them away.
I know one of your keys and one of Coach Hafley's keys was making those steps forward from week 1 to week 2. through 3 quarters, it's hard to say they've done that.
It's been uneven, but that last drive, Evan, was a good indicator that Frank Cignetti is finally really starting to figure out his quarterback and know what he likes and how to call it. And you could see that in that last drive.
It's really up to BC's defense to give the offense a chance here.
They got to stop missing tackles, but I think the real key is the offense gave them a chance to rest. It'll be interesting to see how that rest holds for them when they take this Texas State offense on in this drive.
All righty, 3 down, 1 to go from Alumni Stadium. The light show taking us to the 4th.
You never know what's around the corner. That's why
BC's only fan trying to will the Eagles back into this. Good to see the Eagle masked up.
Home field advantage really gets taken away from you, but then you got to just rely on your guys and make plays.
So the 4th quarter begins with a 2nd and 11. McBride's got it, and he launches it deep. And there was contact, and there's the flag.
I'm an offensive guy, and I don't like that call. I know it's the letter of the law, but Drew Jackson does a nice job of selling that. He just runs into the defender and throws his hands up.
Pass interference, defense, number 3, 15, at first down.
Jason Maitre tangling with Jackson all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, he's locked up with him, but we've seen way worse, and he's running step for step. Now, the problem for Maitre is that he doesn't get his head around, but that's a sell job right there. That's what, you know, you're taught. Maitre tries to pull away just too late. You can't have that.
15-yard penalty and an automatic first down, and here comes Texas State again. Calvin Hill into BC territory. The Bobcats offense continues to get huge chunks.
Yeah, very nice move in the hole right there. You're going to see him just get by Isaiah McDuffie. Has a shot out on him, but Calvin Hill sets that up really nicely and just goes right by McDuffie, who was in the hole for a pretty secure tackle, but overruns it. Those are the key things.
Meanwhile, the right tackle, Tate Heitmeyer, is down, so we'll take the break, but Texas State is on the march again.
CPI is more.
In his 2nd year as a starter, the junior from Mansfield, Texas, walks off gingerly. Meanwhile, Texas State continues to march, and Calvin Hill has found the gap.
I want you to watch Isaiah McDuffie right there. In open space, you've got to get there and secure the tackle. This should be a short game. Block right side by Baxter outside. Look at Calvin Hill setting it up. I'm going inside. Your shoulders are turned. What's going to happen next when you try? You're going to overrun me because I know I can make you miss. Great running backs, or even the average, above average running backs, will always say, I'm going to make the first guy miss. It's the 2nd and 3rd level I have to get to. Isaiah McDuffie in the hole loses that battle.
I can repeat myself, but the scouting report on McDuffie from earlier is he's got flash, but he'll make mistakes despite his talent. First down from the BC 44-yard line. 128 yards churned up by the Bobcats running attack tonight.
I played with Marshall Faulk in Indianapolis, and he would always talk about making the first one miss. Go get somebody else for me.
Hill did not make anyone miss there.
No. That defense now, they had a chance to think about it. They said, okay, Marcus Valdez was like, no, we're not going to have that one. He's a captain of this team. And these are the kind of plays now you have to have. Get them going backwards instead of forward.
Valdez with an unstoppable motor, just keeps going.
You can tell, even up here, he's juiced. He's ready to go at any moment.
Lost a couple of yards. McBride, nearly a great catch, but off the fingertips of Graham. And it's 3rd down.
I'll say this, if you're Boston College and you're their fans, you'll say, hey, I got a lot of respect for this team. Great job by Graham of the effort. But I'll say this Texas State team is giving them all they can handle, and that's actually pretty good coverage by Elijah Jones. He's right there, but a nice throw by the quarterback where only the receiver or the sideline is going to get that ball.
Remember, BC's defense missing its 2 starting safeties. Muse ejected. Jones injured. McBride got crunched as the deep throw is caught with one hand by Marcel Barbie. Are you kidding me?
Hafley is upset. Coach Hafley's upset because he said Marcel Barbie Marcel Barbee should be called for pass interference. Here's why. Look at that left arm. He uses the left arm to put Elijah Jones down. And see Coach Hafley running down the field there? That's a great catch. But as a receiver, I'm always going to do that. You watch these receivers learn how to do this. And that guy out of Pueblo, Colorado, the junior, you see that a lot. You see him going up making plays. That one was one where clearly could have been pass interference. It should be OPI.
Great catch by Barbee. No interference, and here's Hill. There's a flag in the backfield, likely holding. Hill down inside the 10 to the 5. But it's coming back.
BC is going to have wholesale changes.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Bringing out guys on that defensive front. Fortunately for them, that was holding. Jaden Smith, the left guard, 79, right there in your left side of your screen. Just locks his guy up and doesn't let him go. You see, you get those arms and hands outside. You can hold inside, but if you get your arms out extended, it's an easy penalty to call.
So the result of the play was first and goal at the 5. Now, Texas State has first and 20 from the 34.
And if you're Boston College, you're a little concerned because Jeremiah Haydell hadn't made plays, but Marcel Barbee has in the second half.
Barbee's at the bottom of the screen. Here's Hill.
Now that was a nice tackle by Isaiah McDuffie. Same kind of situation, but he refused to let Hill get by him on that one. Good adjustment. And we saw it earlier where he missed 55 on your screen right there. Takes one step and then identifies, recognize, flows, field, and finish. That's what you got to do as a linebacker. You got to do it every time.
After the 1-yard gain, second and 19. Back to Hill. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Sheeta Salah, McDuffie, and company in on the stop, and now it's third and long and probably Brady time.
Well, I'll tell you what, this BC defense has really shown something in these last few plays, and it's going to be interesting to see what Brady McBride pulls out of his hat.
McBride was a 3-year starter in high school for the Coppell Cowboys. His second start with Texas State. Blitz coming. He gets rid of it quickly, and it's incomplete. Well-timed blitz there. Cam Arnold and Max Richardson both came off their respective edges.
And they're going to go for it here. They're coming off hard after McBride. He knows he has to get rid of it. Marcel Barbee falls down. Elijah Jones again. Good coverage by the young man, being right there and not allowing Barbee to get comfortable.
What do you think about the decision here for Jake Spavital?
I think he thought about it, but now with the excellent punter, Kelly.
Again, second time tonight. Yeah. If it's 4th and 10 or 4th and 12, maybe, but 4th and 19.
You don't have many plays in your playbook that get you in that position.
It's a short punt, but there wasn't all that much space to kick it to. And it bounces out of bounds at the 18, so it's going to be about a 15-yard punt. But it does pin BC inside the 20. Let's take another look at this grab by Marcel Barbee going to break. Not his first time. He's used just one hand to haul it in tonight. 18-yard line, trailing by 7. 11:44 remaining here in the fourth. Jake Spavital trying to pick up a marquee road win and get his Bobcats team back to 2-2. It's a family affair for the Texas State Bobcats. Abby Labar has more.
Earlier, all the positive things that were said about Jake Spavital, and he picked up a new responsibility this year, calling the plays on offense. And so there's no better person to ask about how Jake Spavital has handled his role as a head coach of this program than his own brother, Zach Spavital, which you guys talked about is the defensive coordinator. And I said, Coach, how would you grade your brother on the way that he's taken over this program and handled his first head coaching job? And Zach said, well, it's exactly what this program needs. He's on the right track, putting it in a great direction with all of his optimism and positivity.
The best part of the story, though, is when Jake offered Zach the defensive coordinating position, and initially Zach said no. He turned his brother down.
He said, I got to think about it.
Zach said he was just holding his cards close to his vest and that he always expected to end up with his brother.
Hey, you know what happens. He said Mom had to get involved. You know, we had to lean on him a little bit. That was a great one. He said he wanted us to find out exactly why he held out for so long.
We talked about Jake Spavital being a promising young coach. Zach is just a few years older, 38 years old, and he's got a great future as well. He's already been very successful. On second down, David Bailey with a bruising run out to the 30-yard line for the first down.
If I close my eyes and I open them up, I'm thinking I'm looking at A.J. Dillon, who was here, and you can see this kind of running style. One cut, get downhill, run through people, not to them. That's a nice run. He runs right through Torrey Spears, and that offensive line is starting to open up some holes on the interior of this defensive line.
A.J. Dillon, the program's all-time leading rusher, over 4,300 yards in just 3 years. Now with the Green Bay Packers. Kovic gives it off again. And just a 1-yard pickup this time for Bailey, who was overqualified to be Dillon's understudy a year ago.
Well, I love that about programs, too, because when you have guys that are ahead of you, they teach you and you learn, and then you continue to work with them, and you kind of take on that next step. You give it to the young guys, and I think that's the beauty of any program you go to.
I remember chatting with A.J. Dillon a little bit last season, and his eyes lit up talking about David Bailey. Like, that's my guy. That guy, he's going to be so good.
And I think they worked out this offseason together quite a bit as well.
Again, Jurkovec is the wide receiver, and it's Levy taking the direct snap, but not to the promised land. Instead, he picks up 1 yard, and BC's got a pivotal 3rd and 8 here, upcoming under 10 minutes in the 4th.
Trying to use that direct snap. Wildcat is a lot of different variations of it, and Levy has had some effectiveness with it. Had that one long game that was called back. But those are the kind of things that you want to use and do against this Texas State defense.
Again, we're in the 4th quarter, and Zay Flowers, the reigning ACC receiver of the week, still does not have a catch. He's at the top of your screen. Instead, they throw to the tight end, and it's caught, but it's a yard shy of the first down. And it was Levy lining up in the slot that made the catch.
It was 2 guys in the same area, Hunter Long and Levy. 80 and 23 are right in the same spot. They've kind of run that trail route. They better go quickly because
the big guys coming in. Jaquel Pierce and Jammer Daniels raced onto the field.
Sorry about that. They're going to look at this because I'm not sure if he caught that ball.
The runner was short of the line of the gain. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah. Evan, when we were looking at the last replay, see if that ball is, the ball hit the ground. That's the other side. When you saw it from the other angle, you couldn't quite see that, but he got up and sold it, which you're supposed to do as a receiver.
See, here's the thing. Jeff Heiser hasn't gotten to the headset yet. He needs to just look up at us, and we can signal incomplete, and we can just do this right now. It's going to be 4th and 8 from the 32, and I think Jeff Hafley has to punt it here.
I think so, too. They were ready to go for it. They clearly, that was not a catch. They'll overturn this. And look again, 15 of 21, but only 128 yards. And like you said, Zay Flowers hasn't really been a key component of the passing game tonight.
Have you noticed anything particular that Texas State has done defensively?
They've had some bracket on him, but they've always had somebody down on him and up over him. And they've used that with 5 defensive backs. Occasionally you'll see 6, but for the most part, they just really are paying attention to him. Just like that Hunter Long throw when he got smashed going into the end zone. They paid attention to him, but now they're using him in different spaces.
At one point during the game last week, Jeff Hafley went to Zay Flowers in the sideline and basically said, look, you better get a lot of yards this week.
After further review, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass as the ball went between the receiver's arms and hit the ground. It will be 4th down and 8. Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes, 17 seconds.
He told Zay Flowers, you better get a lot of yards this week because next week, going forward, everyone's going to know who you are. So it's going to get much tougher, especially without Kobe White, who sadly had ACL surgery earlier this week.
I would think that this next drive, they'll just go him some smoke routes, get it out to him quick, let him use his ability to make people miss.
Flowers touched the ball twice, both on carries, on sweeps. 2 carries, 4 yards. Meanwhile, Carlson, towering spiral punt, bounces out of bounds near the 35-yard line. And that's where Texas State will take over. 9:09 to play. Will it be an upset or a comeback? Let's find out. Named Ozzie Trapillo, and Trapillo, a famous name in BC lore. He most famously lifted up Doug Flutie after the incredible Hail Mary. The famous Bloodlines graphic, you're going to see a lot this year, BC fans, and there's good reason, because there's a lot of great families on this list.
Yeah, Tyler Vrabel, one of their key guys at right tackle. His dad's a head coach in the NFL. It's been a long time. Great player and now great coach.
And you played with Ozzie's dad, right?
Steve I was a rookie in New Orleans. Trap was a great guy. I got a chance to talk to his wife, his widow, Kimmy, and she just said the one thing that he always talked about to his son: never quit, always know that someone is coming to take your place. She said, I wouldn't let Ozzie play till he was in the 6th grade, but now look at him. He's a heck of a basketball player and a great kid.
BC defense needs a stop, but that's a great first down carry for Brock Sturgis. He picked up 8 yards out to the 43-yard line.
See, and they're using so many different people. It seems like whoever has a hot hand, or we're just going to give you a couple of different running backs to throw at you. And once again, Evans second and short. A lot better than second and long.
BC in the sidelines has to be wondering who's going to make a play. Which one of our defensive guys is going to change the flow of this game? And it might just be Isaiah McDuffie, who speared his way into the backfield for the stop.
Great play by the linebacker. He comes and finds an opening and goes downhill and makes the tackle. Again, 55 on your left there, coming in a little bit, getting off the block, making a play. They needed that by Isaiah McDuffie. They haven't been able to turn the ball over as much today, but they're having to make individual plays in this ball game.
Of course, 5 turnovers a week ago. Only 1 turnover so far today for the BC defense. 3rd down and 2. Sturgis up the middle, has the first down. Needed 2, got 3. And a new set of downs for the Bobcats.
Really nice job of motioning and getting the defense to move over just to space. And Sturgis knows where to go, finds that hole and that opening. Again, this defense has been on the field a while, but they have to come away with the play here.
About to tick past the midway point in this 4th quarter. Texas State has never trailed tonight.
And they're just playing their kind of ball. They got the lead, and they're running the football when they need to and throwing it, finding open guys.
McBride, his 24th throw of the night, is his 17th completion. But it goes for a 5-yard loss.
And Evan, there's no need to run fast. We saw a lot of tempo earlier, but now they're just letting the clock get all the way down. But guys are making plays. Max Richardson is the captain of this defense, but Isaiah McDuffie has really come on strong.
Officially -4 on that completion.
So this is smart by Texas State. You milk the clock for as much as you can because you want to put the pressure on the offense if you have to give the ball over to BC.
Jurkovec hoping he gets a chance on the BC sideline. That's a nice throw. That's the first catch of the day for the tight end, Blake Aragon. And he is within 1 yard of a first down.
I was pining for Aragon, and he finally showed up. Really nice job looking one way, coming back to him. He's a matchup problem in open space. Not a true tight end, but more of an H-back. Really good movement with the ball after he catches it as well.
Wholesale substitution on the defensive line there for BC on a critical 3rd and 1 right here. And if they don't get it, it'd be a really interesting decision on 4th and 1 for Jake Spavital from the +45. Play clock down to 5. McBride gives it to Sturgis, and he's hit in the backfield and denied. He lost a yard, so it's now a 4th and 2 decision for Jake Spavital.
Excellent defense by this ball club here, just coming off, really finding a way to get to the backfield, making a play. That's a defensive effort. Bunch of guys showing up, making a play.
Seamus O'Kelly is going to kick it away. Travis Levy standing at his own 10-yard line. Fair catch signaled for and made at the 13. 5:09 to play. Phil Jurkovec, you wanted to be a starting quarterback. You wanted to be in big spots. You are in one now. That guy, number 18, Marcel Barbie, the junior from Pueblo, Colorado. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's made a number of Superman catches. And Marcel Barbie has delivered our big Bo moments of the night.
Yeah, Marcel Barbie has just shown the ability to go up one hand there and make a play. And then right here again, make somebody miss. They do a really nice job of getting people in space. And then this is a huge catch. Even though I think it's OPI, offensive pass interference, he still comes away with the catch. Looks it all the way in, grabs it with one hand.
It's funny because we were excited to see Jeremiah Haydell. He's had a relatively quiet night. Did have the 29-yard run in the first half, and Zay Flowers on the other side. Maybe this is the moment for Zay.
Let me also give a lot of credit to Cam Arnold, this backup safety. He's a freshman out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. He has been all over the field with the losses of Deion Jones and Jamin Muse.
That's a great point. Duffy made some big plays in that last drive. The BC defense, after Texas State, remember, had 2nd and 2, and then Stone at the line, back-to-back plays, forced a punt. Jurkovec incomplete, looking for Flowers. Jaron Morris there in the coverage for the Bobcats.
He had him. It was just a little bit off. Finally had a chance to get him into space. Jurkovec gets rid of the football. Flowers is running a sail route, sailing into that area, but he throws it behind him instead of just taking him to the sideline just a little bit more.
Jurkovec appeared in 8 games at Notre Dame, never started, entered the transfer portal shortly after Ian Book announced that he would return for this season. His 2nd start as an Eagle, Jurkovec, and that was 2 Eagles in the same spot, distracting each other. That was Jalen Gill and C.J. Lewis, and it looked like one might have deflected it away from the other.
Yeah, a lot of times you have rules when the quarterback begins to scramble. So the guy that's low goes high, and the other one slides over. Well, they slide into each other. There's nowhere on the sideline to move. You're always kind of taught. One guy will move away, the other guy may take off and run, and they both kind of got in that same area.
Honestly, it looked like Lewis was going to make the catch.
Yeah.
Until Gill kind of came into his eyes.
And Gill probably should have just slid over, and Lewis stays back there. You have a completion.
BC has 3 timeouts, but it's 3rd and 10, and that is complete. No, it's intercepted. That ball was stolen away from C.J. Lewis by Roderick Hockley.
Wow.
And it's Texas State football. And now they're going to rule it incomplete.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
Better believe we're taking a look.
Oh, definitely. Well, Lewis again going to dig that ball out. And
One more
it's,
time.
man, that angle, it looks like the ball never hit the ground. He gets under it. Hockley is there sitting on his body, and Hockley seems to just take it away from him.
Ruled incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Man, that was unbelievable if that had been an interception. Really good job by Hockley of playing through that. And Lewis had a chance, couldn't secure it. But fortunately for BC, ruled incomplete.
Punt return team a little late getting out there. But now they are ready. Haydell standing at the Bobcats 47, now backpedaling, and he fair catches it right around his own 31. So So a good punt there by Carlson, but again, it's now up to Tem Lukabu's defense to get the ball back to the BCO.
We've had the good fortune of being able to hear Lukabu talk to that defense, and they've improved. But this is going to be a key drive with 4 minutes and 41 seconds. You usually go into 4-minute offense, sometimes around 5 minutes. If you're Texas State, you don't want to play prevent offense, so to speak, but you want to run the football and use as much clock as you can.
McBride, 221 yards passing against Lukabu's defense. Lukabu is a linebacker coach with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. Pickup of 4, give or take, on the first down carry by McBride.
When you have a defensive-minded coach, you always want to have guys that have your philosophy and understand what you're trying to do. And they really seem to be on the same page. They have to be here. Texas State again. You're going to use as much clock as possible, and don't worry about snapping it until within 5 seconds. That's part of that 4-minute offense.
Let the play clock wind down. Snaps it with 7 remaining. McBride's throw is incomplete. That was dropped. Missed opportunity there by Barbie. He was not going to have the first down yardage, but he would have made it an easier 3rd down opportunity.
And McBride gets it to him right in the right spot. Barbie looking to run before he secured the catch. Good defense also. Really good job there.
DeBerry was the
Josh
guy.
DeBerry.
All righty, Charles, 3rd and 6. Under 4 to play. Eagles are going to bring the pressure here, you'd think. Here comes McDuffie. McBride cannot escape. Wow.
That was a nice play by McDuffie, because he had been beaten before by McBride, and he said, I'm not going to let you get outside. I don't care what you do. He made McBride spin back in where his contain was. Really nice job. McDuffie has come on here in this quarter. Huge play by the linebacker.
Punting teams back on. McDuffie's got 12 tackles, 3 of them behind the line of scrimmage, 2 of them sacks in the game. And Levy gets missiled at his own 35, and a flag flies.
Either going to be getting inside of the returner, or I don't think it's targeting.
It's Torrey Spears, who's already been called for 1 late hit out of bounds today.
Yeah, I think basically you have to give the returner enough room to catch the ball.
By the way, Torrey's dad, Marcus, was a 2nd-round pick of the Bears and spent 11 years in the NFL.
Personal foul, targeting kicking team number 0. That play is under further review.
And they'll review it and see if Spears can play for the final 3:15.
Yeah, whenever you seem to come with helmet to helmet, or your helmet gets in anywhere in that vicinity, he's trying to go lower and not raise the crown, but he's still, and that's actually Jamin Morris.
You're right.
Yep, that was Jaron Morris. Excuse me. Jaron Morris was the first guy down. He's one of those gunners with that speed. They can't afford to lose him.
So coaches talk all about the strike zone now in tackling, which is above the knees and below the neck. That looked right around the neck or the shoulders.
And I didn't. The other thing with me is that he lowered his head. He tried to side and put his shoulder in there, which is, like you said, the strike zone has become a little more difficult for defenders. He's trying to move his head out of the way.
That looks like a good hit to me, but I could understand the targeting call, and it'll be really interesting. Remember, they changed the rule last year that they need to confirm the targeting. If there's any wiggle room, they'd say, no, it's not targeting.
But I also said this, and
Spavital thinks it's not.
I think too many people have said this. There needs to be levels. They need to have levels of targeting, and I think that's the one thing that you're going to probably see at the next iteration of it.
One level for ejection, 1 level for 15 yards. And yet they want to legislate that play out of the game, and certainly the ejection. Here's Jeff Heiser.
After further review, the ruling on the field confirmed 0 has been disqualified.
Wow. So each secondary has lost one of its leaders. BC lost Jamin Muse, the junior, in the first half, and now Jaron Morris.
Just like you're saying, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to move, and Levy is going down. The strike zone changes as you start in. That's a tough call.
And you know, obviously Texas State loses one of its top defenders here in the critical moments. The 15-yard penalty also puts BC across midfield. Look, they're at the 48-yard line thanks to that 15-yard gift. So no Jaron Morris out on the field. Roderick Hockley takes his spot. Hunter Long on the first down catch of about 6 yards.
Morris, as we saw earlier, he's had interceptions last week and this week. Hockley has played well in this place, but now he has to go full time there.
BC gets the snap quickly. Jurkovic completes it to Levy. Clock stops as they'll move the chains. First down at the 37-yard line with under 3 minutes to play. Eagles in search of the game-tying touchdown. Jurkovic completes it to Zay Flowers for the first time tonight. Flowers picks up 5 on his first reception of the evening.
But still not a pass that he can take and do anything with. They're trying to move at a tempo speed, too.
Under 2.5 now. Jurkovic completes it. Gill tried to skitter past Roderick Hockley, who got a piece of the leg, and Corey Spears finishes him off, but another first down for BC.
Gill got excited because Ohio State runs a lot of crossing routes. That's what he was doing last year at the Ohio State University.
BC on the move. Pressure coming. Jurkovic gets rid of it to Long, and these short passes have really been what Jurkovic has needed all night.
Yeah, Jaron Morris, with the targeting call, gave them a lot of yardage, and you lose him, and now you're able to methodically march down the field. College football, you have a chance to get out of bounds. You have a chance to stop the clock. Now you're in position to score.
Certainly no consideration of a field goal here. Down by 7. They have the 3 timeouts, and they are going to huddle up here to take a little time off the clock. It's kind of that middle road. You want to score, but you don't want to leave a ton of time for Texas State. Looking to the end zone. Jurkovic's pass was caught out of bounds on a great effort by Gill.
Gill is going to become a guy in this offense. You can see they're trying to go. He was out of bounds, but really nice grab. Usually when you see those other receivers making plays, you want to go as well.
Is there any chance that toe touched the turf? Inbounds? Doesn't matter now. Third down. Jurkovic buys some time and throws it away, and a flag comes in late. Is this going to be a late hit on the BC quarterback?
Sure looks like it.
It would have been 4th and 5. Instead, it's 1st and goal.
3. It's half the distance to the goal line, automatic, first down.
What a killer penalty for the Bobcats defense.
Can't have those kind of penalties, but if you're BC, you're going to take it. Jalen Gill has to come out. Jelani Galloway comes in and takes his place.
Ball spotted at the 8-yard line for Boston College. Phil Jurkovic under pressure, gets rid of it, and Levy gets pounded out of bounds just narrowly inside the 5. Second and goal coming up. Here's the penalty.
You're going to see Jurkovic running outside, gets rid of the football, and the defender just pushes him out. Huge penalty.
Yeah. Not a major infraction by first sight, but the pass to the end zone is caught, and BC is a PAT away from tying this up late in the 4th. Hunter Long falls in the BC score.
Brendan Looper trying to guard a guy that's 6'5", who you know when you get in this area, Jurkovic is going to look for him. Really nice job by those two. Tight end right there, top of your screen, running a a pump. He goes outside, gives a fake, and then hit, move, and then gets inside. Nice job by Jurkovec in line.
Aaron Boone-Mary for the tie. Got it with 1:11 remaining. Has there ever been a guy named Brady to do anything late in a game in New England? I don't know.
Been a couple of them.
First, the touchdown.
He knows where he's going. He has the middle of the field wide open. His tight end is going to work, just work this, call it a stick route. You work outside and stick pump, stick nod. You give that nod outside and forces the defensive back to move over. And then when you do that, you're wide open in the middle of the field.
Second touchdown of the season for Long, matches his touchdown total from all of last season.
Yeah, he is in a position to really give some people some problems in the ACC. They have to fight tonight with the Sun Belt Conference School and Texas State, but
I think I know the answer to the question, but with 1:11 to go, you wouldn't have thought about going for 2 there, would you?
Not there, no. I think they did the right thing. That was everything they had going for them. I like the decision to go for the extra point.
BC trailed in this game 21-7. Has scored the last 2 touchdowns to tie it up with 1:11 left. And Texas State will start the drive from the 25.
Now the real key, Evan, is your defense ready to hold up against an offense that kind of went into slowdown mode to milk the clock. You know they've got some receivers that can go get it. You've got to play good defense, and you're without a couple of your safeties.
Let's check in with Abby on the sidelines.
Yeah, guys, right before the Eagles scored that touchdown, Max Richardson was already getting his defense fired up on the sideline, walking up and down saying, it's going to come down to us. It's going to come down to us.
And a gift from Jeremiah Haydell to start the drive as he just dropped one right in the middle of that number 3.
Yeah, trying to run before you catch the football. Secure the catch and go, but McBride puts it right on him. Not able to secure the catch. Huge break for that Boston College defense.
Only 3 seconds off the clock. 2nd and 10. McBride downfield, incomplete. Brandon Sebastian there in the coverage for BC.
Yeah, this BC defense is playing at the right rhythm and level. And what I see now is Texas State out of rhythm because they've kind of gone into that slowdown mode to try to milk the clock. Their offense is off kilter, 3rd and long. This BC defense, you put that ball in the air, they'll go get it.
Texas State in danger of giving BC the ball back here if the Bobcats don't convert. Only 8 seconds on the 2 incompletions. And here's McBride again, throwing on 3rd down. It's caught, but it's shy of the 1st. And Jeff Hafley comes charging in to call timeout with 56 seconds left.
Timeout, Boston College.
Ball spotted at the 33, so it's 4th and 2 for Texas State.
The drop becomes so much bigger for this Texas State team by Haydell. Because you pick up 5 yards there, you're now probably looking at a 1st down.
Wow. Each team has 3 touchdowns tonight, Charles. It has been a back-and-forth ball game.
It really has. I mean, Calvin Hill started the scoring for Texas State. And then Jurkovec, really nice, just getting behind his offensive line and making it happen. And then Marcel Barbie with the huge catch here in the end zone.
That made it 14-7. That was the score at half. Early 3rd quarter became 21-7 on Barbie's 2nd score. But then the Jurkovec sneak and the pass to Long with 1:11 left tied it. Low punt. Levy hammered again. And a flag again. Goodness gracious. This time to Jordan Mask. Tried to demask Travis Levy.
Yeah, now that's going to be targeting. And Mask will be out as well from the looks of that.
And BC is going to have the ball near midfield.
Personal foul. Targeting.
Wow.
Kicking team, number 13. That play is under further review.
These types of plays, Charles, you want to make a big momentum jarring hit, but it's just too risky not only for the 15 yards, but for your life in the game.
That and next week, you lose both. Right here, he comes up high. Again, if you go by the letter of the law, that's why they throw the penalty flag there.
Flags at the 32. 15-yard penalty would give BC the ball at the 47. Boumeri has a longer leg than Longman, who kicked last week. So that leaves BC 20 to 25 yards away from a potential game-winning field goal attempt with 47 seconds on the clock. 8 penalties, 76 yards for Texas State if this stands. And there is the Temple transfer, Boumeri, who's had a nagging hip issue during camp, battled back and forth with Longman, and he might have a chance to be a hero here in the final minutes at Alumni Stadium.
You give them such a short field, and you lose another key component of your defense if the rule is upheld.
There's a lot to process from this entire night. From Texas State playing so well and so sharp for 3.5 quarters, Charles. And now here they are on the verge of potentially losing a regulation because it drops in penalties.
And Jake Spavital will say...
After further review, there is no foul for targeting.
Wow. Wish we could put a headset on Jeff and ask him a few follow-up questions. But so no targeting. Mask can keep playing, and BC will have the ball spotted, it looks like, at the 33-yard line.
Well, that also takes away those yards that you thought you would get if you were BC. But Spavital said something at the halftime about the importance of not hurting yourself and making the plays when you had to. Can this defense do that now with this BC offense that has some momentum?
Eagles now about 35, 40 yards away from a possible field goal. Jurkovec to Long. Spears brings him down after a gain of 14. Clock stops with the first down, but it restarts when they set the chains. 2 timeouts remaining for Boston College. Jurkovec lofts it short, middle of the field, Levy. Into Texas State territory, and Jeff Hafley uses...
timeout, Boston College.
That leaves BC with just 1 timeout left.
Yeah, and it's really critical now that you pick up some chunk yardage like they did on that first down.
You know, kind of similar to last week, Jurkovec has settled in late in the game.
He really has, and I think part of it is he and Frank Cignetti now getting comfortable with what to call, what plays are working for him, how to get the ball out of his hands, so he's not having to overthink it at times.
Hunter Long, who caught 7 balls for 93 yards last week, has 8 catches for 77 yards so far tonight. 29 seconds left. A 2nd and 4 for BC from the Texas State 46. Just a 3-man rush, and the pass is complete down near the 30 to Zay Flowers.
Huge pickup by Zay, and that's also what I said. You needed a chunk play, and you get one here. This is a big-time throw. Other hash, wanted to come back out, and he's able to fire that ball in there.
On first down, Jurkovec completes it across the middle, but if that's not a first down, the clock's going to run unless the timeout gets called with 16 seconds left. Hafley pointing to the clock, wants another second or 2.
30 seconds.
Coaches always think that you lost too much time. You didn't give it to me when I called it.
All right, so they're at the 23-yard line. This is basically would be a 40-yard field goal for Boumeri, whose BC long a year ago was 45. He did make a 52-yarder as a member of the Temple Owls in 2017. He missed all of 2018 with hip surgery. He didn't play last week. Nagging injury kept him out, but 16 seconds on the clock. If you're BC, you can't have a completion that's inbounds that isn't a first down right here, right?
Yeah, if you do, you better have your team ready to go and get out on the field as quickly as possible. The other thing is you can't afford to give up lost yards. You can't have a sack. You can't have any negative play. But the most important thing is your PAT or your field goal team is going to be prepared. They're going to be on the sideline, and we used to call that Mayday, where everybody runs out and you're ready to go if you have to.
It's second down here, so theoretically, if there was a play for less than 2 yards, they could spike it if they can get to the line fast enough. Presumably, this throw has to go beyond 2 yards. Here it comes. Blitz is coming. Jurkovec completes it to the sideline. Hunter Long is out of bounds at the 19 with 12 seconds remaining.
He's just using this big tight end, getting them in space, making sure to secure the ball. And if it's an incompletion, it's going to be him or the sideline. Nice throw, nice catch.
Boston College down by 14 late in the third. Now on the verge of a tremendous comeback win in Jeff Hafley's first home game as BC head coach. Looking to the outside, to the end zone. It's incomplete with 7 seconds left. Intended for C.J. Lewis.
Now you kick it. C.J. Lewis can't really get off the bump. You got to find a way to beat that. But now you put it in the hands of your field goal kicker.
The long snapper is Aiden Livingston. The holder is John Tessitore. And the Boston College kicker is Aaron Boumeri. Jake Spavital from the Texas State sideline takes a timeout.
First charge timeout.
So make
Texas
Boumeri
State.
think about the upcoming 36-yarder a little bit.
He's going to make sure he's prepared and ready to kick that ball. The other thing is, think about this. Jaron Morris, who had the block earlier, not in the game. You don't have that guy off the edge with that speed that blocked one earlier.
That's a great point.
So football is a funny thing, isn't it?
I mean, this game has been a labyrinth from the opening kickoff. We kicked off on time, which isn't always a given in college football in 2020. 7 seconds on the clock from the left hash. Aaron Boumeri is going to try to win the game for Boston College. Again, Tessitore will hold. Jake Spavital is going to use another timeout.
30 seconds.
Guess he says, I'm not going to take him with me.
I don't know about you. I would be okay with this becoming an annual rivalry. They haven't played in over 100 years of college football, but this has been a fun ball game.
It really
tonight.
has been. It really has been, and you can sense that both coaches want to get their programs going in the right direction, and this Texas State team has really come out and battle.
And represented the Sun Belt Conference well. I mean, the Sun Belt with 3 marquee wins already this year. Remember last year, the only time in the last 5 years that a Sun Belt team beat an ACC opponent was App State going to Chapel Hill.
That's true.
And beating Mac Brown's team last year. What a win that was for the Mountaineers. Boston College trying to stay perfect in Jeff Hafley's rookie season as a head coach. Now, there's one more timeout for Spavital, and he's not going to take it with him back to San Marcos.
I think
Texas State, 30 seconds.
He's going to exhaust all of them. But I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I think it would happen the same way. Really nice job by both ball clubs. Texas State really coming out and just jumping on top of Boston College. But what I like about the Eagles is they fought, hadn't been pretty again, but I think they kind of have that mentality. Hey, we got to be lunch bell kind of guys. It's not going to always be pretty. But when you get a W, if you're able to, and I know for Jake's team, you go on the road, if you can find a way to keep this game going into overtime.
No more timeouts, Charles, for either side. Jurkovec got BC into position. 49 yards in 6 plays, over 40 seconds. And now it's up to Aaron Boumeri. The 36-yarder is good. Boston College, with 3 seconds remaining, takes its first lead of the night.
Huge play by Bumeri, finishing the game, but also finding a way, not really, kicking the field goal to potentially end the game. A really good job by this Boston College team of battling back more than anything.
That kid's fired up.
Yeah, they're all fired up. You know how hard it is to win games, and that's the other side. Knowing how hard those guys from Texas State fought as well, in the position to have a chance to win that game.
It's going to get tougher the next few weeks for Boston College. Today begins a 3-game homestand. North Carolina and Pittsburgh the next 2 weeks. Pittsburgh had an impressive win today against a ranked Louisville team. But BC has come back from 14 down tonight, and Bumeri's kick from 36 with 3 seconds left puts the Eagles in front. And now just simple execution on the kickoff. Remember, Jeremiah Haydel is electric. Will he bring it out? Yes, from 3 yards deep. Haydel, barring a penalty, the final play of the game, and Boston College has won it. 24-21, the Eagles are 2-0.
Huge play at the end there, just really securing the tackle, but really, more than anything, coming back to win that ball game against a tough Texas State ball club.
I believe that was Nick DiNucci that made the game-ending tackle. Looked like a nice moment between Jeff Hafley and Jake Spavital, two very promising coaches in college football. And yet, for Spavital, it's going to be an excruciating trip back to San Marcos, knowing how close they were to this program-defining victory on the road over an ACC opponent. And yet BC deserves the credit too. Jurkovec getting the Eagles back in it, and Bumeri booming the winner.
And you said it best, Texas State, it doesn't get easier for them either. They now have to go in at Troy, at South Alabama, at BYU. So, but what I really like about this is how Boston College battled. I think you said it best. These two teams now have a healthy amount of respect for each other after that game, especially the way Texas State came in here and fought, and the way Boston College didn't look good for them for a while, but they found a way to fight through and get the W.
First ever meeting between the Boston College Eagles and the Texas State Bobcats. A memorable 60-minute battle.
It got us involved, right? You'd look at it and you say, okay, good, but all of it leading up to that was
Charles,
so good as
I
well.
feel like I need an ice bath. This was a battle for us up here too.
Oh man.
Bumeri, Tessitore, and the rest of the Eagles fired up, and let's watch Hafley's reaction. He's a pretty calm guy, but he had to be feeling great inside. He's with Abby Labar on the sideline. Abby.
Congratulations, Coach, on a huge comeback win. How did your guys handle those critical moments down the stretch?
It's what they've done all year. They don't flinch, and no matter what happens to them, no matter what the situation is, we're just going to play, and we're going to cut it loose, and we're never going to give up until the final whistle blows. And I told them in the locker room, don't let circumstance change you. And they didn't. And our guys came back. I mean, they did an incredible job. That's a really good football team. Really, really well coached. Just can't say enough about our players.
You want them to come in with that fearless approach. How did they play fearless, especially at the end there?
Well, they showed it. You know, they were down. Their backs were up against the wall, and they didn't flinch. They didn't go in the tank. They didn't point fingers. They did everything that a good group of guys does, and I'm just really proud of them.
What do you want them to take away from this game as you head into a tough challenge next week?
Yeah, we got to clean things up. You know, we didn't play very well. We didn't execute very well, and I certainly didn't coach well enough. But we found a way, and I'm not going to take that away from those guys tonight.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. 10 points in the final 71 seconds of regulation. And BC wins it 24-21. Charles Arbuckle, Evan Lepler, Abby Labar down on the sidelines. Jeff Hafley, even after last week, said, I need to do a better job myself. He puts the onus on himself, and the players got to respect that.
They do, and I think it's also a credit to him to understand how he can push his players. Now, you win 2 weeks in a row, and especially this week was uglier than last week, but you take a win. Anytime you can win a game, trust me, you'll take it. But I think the real key here is they're starting to figure out who he is as a coach, and he's figuring out who they are as players. When you have losses at the safety position, you have guys that's just, you know, the injuries started to mount up. Their defense wasn't playing well, but they found a way to rally at the end, and I thought that's a testament to the grit.
What impressed you the most about those final few minutes where they started to really move the ball? The sense of urgency was there, and they converted, executed when they needed to.
Well, it goes back to the third quarter when you said it best. When they were down by 2 touchdowns, they have to answer. And when they did that, Frank Cignetti, I felt, really started to understand Jurkovec, what he could do and what he couldn't do. And they took all that stuff out of the playbook, and they started getting the ball to the weapons. And it didn't matter who it was. They spread the ball around, and they started running it effectively and got into a rhythm. And when that happened, to me, I thought they could really find a way to finish the game. Texas State didn't quite capitalize on the opportunities, but Boston College did.
There's got to be a huge sigh of relief in the BC locker room, but Aaron Boumeri's 36-yarder and some really nice situational football down the stretch to get him a few extra yards closer, and there was no doubt that was going right down the middle.
Well, you could tell when they found ways to get it to Zay Flowers and Hunter Long, that I was starting to think this is going to turn for them. They're going to get in position to kick a field goal, and I think you're starting to figure out who your playmakers are, both on offense and defense.
9 catches for Hunter Long tonight, 81 yards. Travis Levy had 7 catches, 35 yards. Certainly after the game, folks will ask about David Bailey and what his status is. He didn't play a ton tonight, and BC has a huge game next week. From the Texas State perspective, look, they lost by 7 to SMU. They lost in double overtime to UTSA. Now they blow a 2-touchdown lead to BC. There's a universe in which Jake Spavital's team is 4-0. Instead, they're 1-3 with a gauntlet of a schedule you mentioned coming up.
Well, you are who you are and where you are, and I think Jake Spavital will talk to his team about that. We've got to find ways not to have targeting penalties. We've got to find ways not to make easy drops. We have to find a way to finish because they're going to play the meat of their schedule now. It's some tough teams that they have to be prepared for and learn how to finish those games, and I think that's going to be critical for them.
Today was game 2 of a 5-game road trip for Texas State. They're off next week. They got a tough road slate ahead. Meanwhile, Boston College, the next 2 weeks, we'll learn a lot about what this Eagles team is. They're 2-0 right now. Your final thoughts as the Eagles get ready for the Tar Heels and the Panthers?
It's always better to be 2-0 going into those the teams that you're going to play. But I also think the other real key is how do you clean up those things that you didn't do right, so after week 2, you improve even more for week 3.
What a ball game. BC down 21-7 in the third quarter. Comes all the way back and wins it on an Aaron Boumeri field goal with 3 seconds to go. 24-21 is the final. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you from Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill. We wish there could have been 44,500 here. Hopefully that can change as the fall season progresses. But now we say so long. Don't forget Jacksonville State, Florida State next week. For our entire crew, producer Jay Hoover, director Tom Hewitt, for Charles Arbuckle and Abby Labar, I'm Evan Lepler saying good night from Chestnut Hill. Eagles come back to win it. They're 2-0.
I didn't know